Chapter 506. She didn't want Hu Jingyao to continue the topic, so she thought of something else. Speaking of which, your uncle's family isn't bad. Why did he have to do these dangerous things? If he didn't do these dangerous things, how could he have been promoted to senior colonel in such a short time? Hu Jingyao admired Zhang Yichen very much. They had a good relationship, so he understood Zhang Yichen's choice. His uncle was already a commander. If Zhang Yichen had been relying on his father's influence, it wouldn't have been a problem. However, Zhang Yichen was obviously ambitious, so he had to work harder than others, so that people wouldn't think that he got to where he was because of his connections. Oh right. What do you mean by uncle? Isn't my uncle your uncle? Su Qingsang stuck out her tongue. She couldn't tell him that Zhang Yichen looked too young. She wouldn't even think of the fact that he was one generation younger than her. Hu Jingyao suddenly narrowed his eyes, turned her body around, and moved closer to her face. You just said that my uncle saw you in the hot spring. Since she was in the hot spring, she wasn't wearing any clothes, was she? Hu Jingyao's face was so close that the tip of his nose almost touched hers. Su Qingsang blinked and looked into Hu Jingyao's deep eyes. That was an accident. Accident? Hu Jingyao put his hand on her shoulder and asked, Did he see you naked? His voice was not only obviously jealous, but Su Qingsang could also hear the danger in it. Looking at his enlarged face, she shook her head instinctively and said, No, I was wearing a swimsuit. Swimsuit? Which one? One-piece style? Or three-point style? Hu Jingyao said the last few words in a very low voice. His breath was warm, with a cool mint smell. Su Qingsang blushed slowly and said, Three-point style. Hu Jingyao narrowed his eyes and stared at Su Qingsang's face. He suddenly pulled her up and led her to the walk-in closet. Then he leaned against the door and looked at her. Su Qingsang didn't understand what he meant. She blinked and stood there without moving. Hurry up. His gaze was fervent, and there was a hint of impatience in his eyes. What? Find your swimsuit and put it on. She didn't know, but Hu Jingyao didn't mind reminding her. Speaking of which, I've never seen you wear a bikini. Previously, when she went to Japan to soak in the hot springs, he said he wanted to go with her. Later, he had something to do and couldn't make it. This time, she brought Shi Mingwan to the hot spring club. He thought that it would be inconvenient for him to follow them since they were both women, so he didn't go. Speaking of which, he had never seen Su Qingsang in a swimsuit. Hu Jingyao. Su Qingsang didn't want to talk to this guy. She walked past him and was about to walk out when Hu Jingyao put his arm around her waist. With a twist, he easily fixed her body on the closet door of the cloakroom. Find it yourself and change it, or I'll help you. Choose one. I won't choose either. Su Qingsang shook her head. Even though she was blushing all the way to her neck, she didn't intend to compromise just like that. I'm sleepy. I'm going to bed. It's not like you're going swimming, so why are you wearing a swimsuit for him to see? He was going crazy, and she wasn't going to go crazy with him. Hu Jingyao nodded. It seems that you're more inclined to let me do it. As he spoke, he held her waist tightly, not giving her a chance to run out. He rummaged through her wardrobe. She had brought some luggage to Rong City, but not much. All the clothes in this closet were bought by him later. Naturally, there were swimsuits among them. After all, the Hu family had a swimming pool. Hu Jingyao casually rummaged through and found several sets. There were all kinds of colors and styles. I'll take this one. Taking out a pink swimsuit, Hu Jingyao glanced at Su Qingsang's body up and down. Come on, put it on. Hu Jingyao, that's enough. She wasn't going to the swimming pool now, so why would she wear a swimsuit? Well, since you don't want to, then I have to do it myself. Hu Jingyao wasn't joking with her. He was serious. How could Su Qingsang let him do it? She took a big step back. No, I'll do it myself. Hu Jingyao gestured for her to do it. With a smile on his face, he looked at Su Qingsang with eager eyes. Su Qingsang felt uncomfortable under his gaze, and her eyes fell on the cloth in his hand. She gritted her teeth and finally took it. She was wearing pajamas, so she had to take them off to change into the swimsuit. She had undressed in front of Hu Jingyao before, but most of the time, he was the one doing it. Speaking of which, It was almost the first time that she took the initiative to do it in front of him. Thinking of this, Su Qingseng became more and more uncomfortable, and even felt a little weak in her legs. Hua Jinyao's eyes were still staring at her, and there seemed to be a faint spark in his eyes. When she took off her pajamas, the spark in his eyes turned into flames. Su Qingseng felt a little thirsty. She let the pajamas slide to the ground, and finally put on the small piece of cloth with trembling hands. Her movements weren't fast, but being stared at by him, even if he was her husband, and they had been intimate so many times, still made her feel embarrassed. Hua Jinyao watched Su Qingseng put on the bikini, and the flames in his eyes turned into flames. Su Qingseng tied the strap behind her, only to find that Hua Jinyao had been staring at her. She suddenly had a feeling that she didn't know where to put her hands and feet. She couldn't help but take a step back, and her body hit the door of the wardrobe behind her. Hua Jinyao took a step forward and stood still. He stared at her face, and his eyes were burning. "I've already put it on for you to see." Su Qingseng's voice was a little hoarse. She blinked and wanted to move aside. "Excuse me, I'm going to sleep." Hua Jinyao was like a big bad wolf staring at a little white rabbit, and his eyes were almost glowing red. How could he let her go like this? "Honey." He put one hand on the side of her neck, and his tall body made it impossible for her to hide. "Did you want Zhang Yichen to see you like this today? Why did he beat Zhang Yichen up? Shouldn't he hide somewhere? Hide in the hot spring where Su Qingseng was? He really deserved a beating. I told you, it was an accident." It was an accident. But when he thought of Zhang Yichen looking at Su Qingseng's seductive face, he felt a little uncomfortable. Of course, he trusted Zhang Yichen's character. He came from the army, and he was a man of integrity. He had heard from his great-aunt that a new female soldier, who had just joined the army, had a crush on Zhang Yichen. The sky was swaying in front of Zhang Yichen. However, Zhang Yichen didn't move. Later, that female soldier somehow got the courage to walk up to Zhang Yichen and take off her clothes, trying to make it a reality. However, Zhang Yichen ignored the female soldier's attempt to throw herself into his arms, and directly threw her out of the room. Of course, when he threw her out, he still cared about her face and threw her clothes out. Although the female soldier hurriedly put on her clothes, she still couldn't suppress the matter. Later, that female soldier was transferred away. Maybe she was directly discharged from the army. Zhang Yichen had been in this kind of situation many times. In addition, in the past few years, he seemed to be focused on building his career, and he didn't care much about women. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in his 30s without a girlfriend, and didn't want to get married. As Hua Jinyao was thinking about this, his eyes fell on Su Qingseng's chest. He suddenly felt his throat tighten. How could those mediocre women be compared to Su Qingseng? Su Qingseng was Su Qingseng, and those people were those people. Lowering his head, he bit down on her lips, neither too lightly nor too heavily. Su Qingseng felt the pain and let out a moan. To Hua Jinyao, this moan was like pouring oil on the fire in his eyes. Right on the wardrobe door, he pressed her body down and kissed her hard. Su Qingseng's back was against the wardrobe door, and she only felt cold. She was afraid of the cold, so she held Hua Jinyao with both hands and tried to move forward a little. Hua Jinyao narrowed his eyes and picked her up. She looked like she was throwing herself into his arms. The moment her body was in the air, Su Qingseng was so scared that she held Hua Jinyao's neck tightly. Hua Jinyao stared at her snow-white breasts in front of him, and his eyes darkened. Against her neck he said in a nasal voice, "Wife, you are mine." Her body, and everything about her belonged to him. He didn't want any other man to touch her. Even if that man was his uncle, it was the same. Hua Jinyao looked at Yang Wenchang in front of him and narrowed his eyes. "What did you say?" "He Xianyao, the daughter of the He family, came to the company yesterday." "Who agreed?" "It wasn't me." Yang Wenchang was afraid that Hua Jinyao would think of him. "The chairman arranged it." "My father?" "Yes." Yang Wenchang looked at Hua Jinyao's face and said carefully, "She was arranged to replace Zhang Yang, but I didn't agree. Later, she said she would go to the marketing department. We let her go." "She said she would go to the marketing department, and you let her go?" Hua Jinyao raised his eyebrows, his eyes sharp. Yang Wenchang lowered his head again, and his eyes were full of guilt. Well, the chairman. Hua Jinyao didn't say anything. This was not Hua Mingguang's idea, but Lu Tongjia's. It's okay. She wants to stay in the marketing department, right? It's okay. Starting tomorrow, let her work with old Zhang in the marketing department. Whatever old Zhang does, we'll do it together with her. Yang Wenchang's eyes lit up. His boss had made a smart move. President Hua, why didn't I think of this before? Do you think that the one who came is an ancestor, and we have to worship her? Hua Jinyao and Yang Wenchang had worked together for many years, and had a tacit understanding. However, Yang Wenchang had to listen to Hua Mingguang sometimes. After all, Hua Mingguang was the chairman. Hua Jinyao understood Yang Wenchang's position, but he wouldn't let it go. Chapter 507. Hua Jinyao's voice sounded deliberate. He had already decided to forget about He Xianyao setting him up. Since she was so blind, and wanted to come looking for trouble, Lin Fan thought to himself. She shouldn't blame him for making her unhappy. Yes. Yang Wenchang nodded. He looked like he was watching a good show. Originally, he wanted to leave, but he suddenly thought of something else. President Hua, there's something I think I should tell you. About the Ike's case. Yes, the case has been going well, but there seems to be a problem with the signing. The signing has been delayed for a few days. Normally, the contract should have been signed by now. With Hua Yifan's ability, it shouldn't have been delayed for so long. Yang Wenchang began to feel that something was wrong. What's the problem? Hua Jinyao looked at Yang Wenchang. Before he could ask him to clarify the problem, Yang Wenchang's phone rang. He glanced at Hua Jinyao. It's Micah, the representative from Ike's. Meeting Hua Jinyao's eyes, he quickly picked up the phone. He looked at Hua Jinyao and spoke to the other party in English while putting the phone on speaker. Hua Jinyao could hear the voice on the other end of the phone clearly. Micah wanted to meet him? Yang Wenchang signaled with his eyes whether he could agree or not. Hua Jinyao shook his head. Yang Wenchang understood immediately. He told the other party that Hua Jinyao wouldn't be free for the next 2 days. As for when they could meet, it would depend on when Hua Jinyao was free. After hanging up, Yang Wenchang looked confused. President Hua, what do you think is going on with Hua Yifan? He had worked for Hua Jinyao for many years. Naturally, he knew that Hua Yifan didn't get along with Hua Jinyao. As for why he didn't want to replace him, it was because he didn't want Hua Jinyao to be the president. Don't worry about him. If Micah wants to meet me again, say yes. Okay. Yang Wenchang understood. What about Hua Yifan? Ignore him. As long as Micah made a move, Hua Yifan wouldn't be able to sit still. Yang Wenchang would know what Micah wanted. Yes. Yang Wenchang picked up the documents and was about to leave when he remembered one last thing. By the way, President Hua, the temporary replacement for Zhang Yang has passed the interview. Her name is Ding Qing, and she's a top student at T University. She started working today. You deal with these matters. There's no need to tell me. Yang Wenchang responded and left. Hua Jinyao was lost in thought. Based on Hua Yifan's cunning, even if he couldn't get Ike's deal in the shortest time possible, he wouldn't have dragged it on for so long. More importantly, there was no way Ix would come back to him. After all, if he couldn't complete this project well, his position in the Tianyu group would be awkward in the end. Even Hua Mingguang couldn't say anything. Was Hua Yifan really that stupid? Or did he have other tricks up his sleeve? No matter which one it was, he wasn't afraid. He would just deal with it as it came. There was another knock on the door. Hua Jinyao looked unhappy. The person who came was Su Qingseng. This was her first time visiting the Tianyu group in Rong City. If she hadn't met Yang Wenchang just now, she wouldn't have been able to come up. After all, she was the wife of the president of the Tianyu group. Many people had only heard of her, but never met her. Why are you here? Seeing Su Qingseng, Hua Jinyao stood up to greet her. Mengwan and I happened to be shopping nearby, so I thought I'd come to see you. What? So you came to see me on the way? Hua Jinyao raised his hand to cover his chest, looking hurt. Honey, I'm hurt. Seeing him like this, Su Qingseng wanted to laugh. She raised the small box in her hand and said, Since you're hurt, I guess you can't have dessert, right? Can I give it to someone else? No. His wife bought it for him. Even if he didn't like sweets, he couldn't let it fall into someone else's hands. Hua Jingyao took the box from her hand and put it on the coffee table. He put it on the coffee table and said, "Hey, didn't you say you came with Shi Mingwan? Where is she?" She went to the bathroom. She had never been to Hua Jinyao's workplace, so she brought Shi Mingwan here. Good timing. Let's have dinner together tonight. Hua Jinyao received a call from one Xianying today. Xianying said he wants to treat you to dinner. Treating me is fake. It's Mingwan, right? Su Qingsang blinked. Did he think she didn't know what one Xianying was thinking? Then will you do me the honor? I will. But it's really impossible for him and Mingwan to be together. Su Qingsang had already asked Shi Mingwan today, and she didn't mean that. Besides, she's leaving tomorrow. Leaving tomorrow? Why don't you stay for a few more days? I have to work, and I can't be with her every day. She also has things to do in Lin City. So she and Xianying are destined not to be together. As Su Qingsang spoke, her phone rang. Shi Mingwan was already ready and waiting for her downstairs. I'll leave first. Let's talk about dinner later. Since it was impossible for them to be together, it was better not to give him hope. When Su Qingsang left, she pointed at the snacks on the coffee table and blew a kiss at Hua Jinyao. Seeing his eyes suddenly become deep, she immediately became timid and quickly walked out. Su Qingsang walked out of the office. Before she reached the elevator, she saw a beautiful woman walking toward her. She was a real beauty. She was about 170 centimeters tall, had a slim figure, a voluptuous body, beautiful facial features, and exquisite makeup. She was wearing a pair of Gucci high heels and a Chanel business suit. She didn't have a special concept of brands. However, she happened to see the woman in front of her in a magazine when she went to the spa a few days ago. Su Qingsang blinked. There was such a beauty in Hua Jinyao's office. How good were the benefits of Tianyu Group? The woman was holding a stack of documents in her hand. She looked like a standard elite office woman. She was looking at the woman, and the woman was looking at her. Su Qingsang wanted to go out with Shi Mingwan. She came out in sportswear. She looked casual and casual. Although Su Qingsang didn't feel that she was inferior to the woman in front of her, she felt that she lacked a sense of formality and solemnity. Su Qingsang also felt strange when she realized her own mentality. What was even stranger was that Su Qingsang didn't know if it was an illusion, but she seemed to see a flash of contempt in the woman's eyes. She wanted to see it clearly, but the woman curled the corners of her lips and smiled at her. She didn't speak, but took the stack of documents, walked past her, and walked toward Hua Jinyao's office. Chapter 508. Su Qingsang suddenly turned to look at her. She still had a faint smile on her lips. Before Su Qingsang could say anything, she waved the folder in her hand and went straight into Hua Jinyao's office. Before entering the door, the moment she pushed it open, she turned to look at Su Qingsang. When their eyes met, she silently said 4 words. Open the door and close it. Just like that, the graceful figure disappeared behind the door. Su Qingsang's expression became a little strange. It was her first time in Hua Jinyao's office. When Yang Wenchang took her upstairs just now, they took the elevator for the president. She didn't meet anyone, so how did this woman know her identity? Qingsang, what's wrong? Shi Mingwan's words brought her back to reality. Only then did she realize that she had already left the building of Tianyu Group and had already reached the parking lot. Nothing. Su Qingsang shook her head. Thinking of the last few words that her daughter had uttered, she suddenly felt a sense of provocation. Who was that woman? What did she mean by those words? TSK, I know you and Hua Jinyao are very loving. You don't have to look like this when you leave him, do you? After all, you two are together every day now. Shi Mingwan was quite dissatisfied with her absent-mindedness. I haven't even gone up and let you two be alone. Why are you still so reluctant to leave? I'm so jealous. What are you talking about? Su Qingsang was amused by her words. It's not that I can't bear to leave him. I just remembered that Hua Jinyao doesn't seem to like desserts. In the end, I sent 2 boxes of desserts up. She had been shopping with Shi Mingwan and happened to walk near the dessert shop, so she bought desserts. Later, She remembered that she had gone out to eat with Hu Jingyao a few times, and she had never seen him eat desserts at the Hu family. You're a little incompetent as a wife. Shi Mengwan's words were teasing. You don't even know what your husband likes to eat. Who said that? I know. I just forgot. Su Qingsang blushed a little. She had really forgotten about it, because she was shopping. I think you should be more careful in the future. Otherwise, your husband is so handsome, and has such a high status. If a girl comes and snatches him away one day, you won't even have a place to cry. Screw you. My Jingyao wouldn't do that. Su Qingsang was sure. But she couldn't help but think of the woman she had just seen upstairs. Somehow, she felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. My Jingyao. TSK, your words are so sour. Shi Mengwan's voice brought her back to her senses. She shook off that thought. She believed in Hu Jingyao's character. He would never betray his love and marriage. Inexplicably, this was what she believed. With such confidence, she didn't ask Hu Jingyao who the woman was that night. There was no need to ask, and there was no need to know. Since she chose to trust him, there was no need for her to ask anything else. Because Shi Mengwan was about to leave, she slept with Shi Mengwan that night. As for Hu Jinyao's dark expression, she instinctively ignored it. The next day, Su Qingsang sent Shi Mengwan off, returned to the hospital, and continued to do what she was supposed to do. The courtyard became busy. For a few days, it was as if a wave of people were rushing to give birth. Every day, they had to receive a large number of pregnant women. The ward was almost full. Not only were they busy, but there were also a few pregnant women who weren't in good condition, so they had to pay attention to them from time to time. Not to mention her, even Zheng Qinyu was very busy. Some pregnant women were picky and said that they didn't want male doctors. But when there were no doctors, male doctors were also useful. Under such circumstances, when the next weekend came, Su Qingsang naturally didn't go back to the Hu family. She could only call old Master Hua and tell him that she had to be on duty this weekend, so she might not be able to see him. Old Master Hua was very understanding about his granddaughter-in-law's work. He didn't say much, but just told her to work hard. Hu Jingyao looked at Micah, who was sitting in front of him. Next to him was his secretary Vera. This time, Hu Jingyao brought Yang Wenchang with him. They had been sitting for 20 minutes. Micah didn't open the door, but Hu Jingyao was calm. He was leisurely drinking the tea in front of him. The tea is good. Hu Jingyao glanced at Yang Wenchang, who was sitting next to him, with appreciation. Try it. His attitude was a little frivolous. Micah was angry, but he didn't show it on his face. President Hua, you still have the leisure to drink tea? I thought you wouldn't even be able to eat now. Why would I? Hu Jingyao smiled. Why would I not be able to eat? President Hua. Micah thought that Hu Jingyao was pretending. In his opinion, how could Hu Jingyao not care about it at all? That was impossible. You were the one who talked to me about the cooperation between our two companies. Why is it Mr. Hu Yifan now? No matter who I talk to, the final result is the cooperation with Tianyu Group. I don't see the difference. Of course there is a difference. Micah looked at Hu Jingyao, as if feeling sorry for him. President Hua, we had a good talk before. I thought you were willing to cooperate with me. Yes. Tianyu Group is willing to cooperate with Ike's at any time. Hu Jingyao was talking about the two companies, but Micah was talking about the two of them. Micah wasn't stupid. Of course he understood. President Hua, I don't think you are willing to give such a big piece of the cake to your brother. You said it yourself, he is my brother. If that's the case, why do we have to be separate? But Tianyu Group should be yours. Micah looked sad. Isn't it? Mr. Micah, please be careful. Tianyu Group belongs to the Hua family. But without your father, the Hua family wouldn't be where it is now. Hu Jingyao didn't deny this. Why could Hua Mingguang become the chairman, while Hua Mingliang could only be a director, which was an idle job? When Tianyu Group was first established, it couldn't be on such a scale. Although old Master Hua was ruthless, he only made Tianyu Group the largest in Rong City. After Hua Mingguang took over, he expanded the business to other cities in the country. He also laid the foundation for Tianyu Group to become a multinational company. After that, Hu Jingyao took over. After he took over, he made a series of measures to make Tianyu Group stronger. Hua Jingyao understood what Micah meant. Seriously speaking, he and Hua Mingguang should be the only ones in Tianyu Group. Of course, it was the same now. However, after Hua Yifan graduated from school and entered Tianyu Group, he started to have more thoughts with Hua Yiyang and Hua Yifan. They did a lot of small things, but Hua Mingguang tolerated them all. Because of this, Hua Jingyao had a lot of troubles. Mr. Micah, what are you trying to say? Just say it. If you want to sow discord between me and my brother, you don't have to. In some ways I trust him. Even if he didn't trust him, it was the Hua family's business. He wouldn't show it in front of Micah, a collaborator, or a foreigner. Mr. Hua, I can't be compared to you. Micah sighed. He seemed to be helpless about Hua Jingyao's words. Mr. Hua, I sincerely want to cooperate with you, but I know some small things. I think Mr. Hua will be very interested in them. Micah didn't beat around the bush. He got to the point. Hua Jingyao looked at him. Because of what Micah said next, his expression finally changed. It was rare that Su Qingsang didn't have to be on duty or stay in the hospital. She bought some bird food to feed the parrot, then bought 2 boxes of tea to visit Old Master Hua. She had heard from Hua Jingyao that Old Master Hua loved tea. The Hua family must have good tea. They had a lot of special tea, but the tea she gave him would be different. It was an apology for not having time to visit Old Master Hua. Old Master Hua was really nice to her and trusted her. Su Qingsang was very grateful. If she could, she would like to spend more time with Old Master Hua. However, when Su Qingsang arrived at the Hua family's house, she found that Old Master Hua had gone out to see an old friend. He would come back later. As for how late, Uncle Chung didn't know if he would come back for dinner. Su Qingsang finally decided to visit the parrot before going home. Old Master Hua wasn't there, so Su Qingsang couldn't stay. The main thing was that if she ran into Lu Tongjia later, they wouldn't quarrel, but they never had a good conversation when they met. Therefore, she didn't want to be impulsive. Su Qingsang stood under the eaves in the backyard. Rong City was getting warmer. The temperature wasn't high, but at least it wasn't as cold as before. The parrot seemed to be very happy to see her, and kept squawking. But even if it was happy, the parrot had to express its dissatisfaction. Bastard, don't look at me. Bastard, ignore me. Su Qingsang was so angry that she wanted to laugh. It was the bird who had been cold, and ignored her no matter how she called. Why was she ignoring it now? What was even funnier was that it was complaining, but it still scolded her. I think you shouldn't be called Jadeite. Change it to rascal. You like scolding people so much. Rascal, you rascal. Rascal. You rascal. The parrot scolded her again. Su Qingsang really laughed. Why was the bird getting addicted to scolding her? Su Qingsang rarely got playful. She glared at the bird in front of her fiercely. You're having fun, aren't you? Believe it or not, I'll pluck all your feathers, kill you and eat you. Bad guy, bad guy. The parrot squawked even louder. Boss. Help. Bad guy. He wants to eat me. Boss, help. Help. Ha 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 ha. Su Qingsang couldn't help but laugh out loud. She was overjoyed. The bird was so funny. She didn't laugh for long before she heard low laughter behind her. Chapter 509. Uncle. Su Qingsang blinked, and looked at the person in front of her. She found that she had been seeing Zhang Yichen more often recently, but it didn't seem to be a coincidence. After all, the Hua family was Zhang Yichen's uncle's home. He could come and go as he pleased without any scruples. Zhang Yichen looked at Su Qingsang, and responded to the word uncle in a very casual tone. He seemed to be smiling just now. The corners of his mouth were still curled up, with a faint, shallow smile. Su Qingsang wasn't sure how much of her conversation with the parrot he had heard. Somehow, she felt a little embarrassed. It seemed that whenever she appeared in front of him, she wouldn't look good. Uncle, are you here for Grandpa? Grandpa went out. He's not home. I know. Zhang Yichen was here for Old Master Hua. He didn't know until later that Su Qingsang and Hua Jingyao only came to the Hua family's house on weekends. He wanted to avoid Su Qingsang when she came. Unexpectedly, he didn't manage to avoid her. He didn't expect Su Qingsang to be at home. Not only was she at home, but she was also playing with the parrot in the backyard. When she smiled, there was a hint of innocence and frankness in it. She didn't have the arrogance that other girls in Rome City had. She looked as cute as a girl next door. But he knew that was only one side of her. She had many other sides. She was cunning when she was trying to blackmail the family members. And she was serious when she was stitching up people's wounds. And she was arrogant and aggressive when she was facing that man's subordinates. The last thing that flashed through his mind was Su Qingsang's smooth shoulders that were half exposed when she was soaking in the hot spring, and her jade-like skin. Realizing what he was thinking, he put on a serious expression, and the smile on his face faded a little. He looked so serious that Su Qingsang thought he didn't want to see her. Well, she was the one who saw him hiding in the closet in a sorry state. Then uncle, please help yourself. I'm leaving. She was about to walk into the house when Zhang Yichen suddenly stopped her when she was about to walk past him. Don't move. Su Qingsang was startled and subconsciously glanced at him. Zhang Yichen realized that his tone was too stiff. He lowered his voice uncomfortably and said, There's something dirty. Where? Don't move. Zhang Yichen raised his hand and gently plucked a feather out of her hair. She looked at him with hidden eagerness in her eyes. However, the corners of his lips were tightly pursed. That was the result of him trying his best to restrain himself. Su Qingsang didn't see the look on Zhang Yichen's face. When he brought the feather to her, she lowered her head and said, Thank you. The corners of Zhang Yichen's mouth were cold and stiff. Even his voice was lower. No need. Su Qingsang didn't stay long because of his cold attitude. She left as fast as she could. Zhang Yichen stood there without moving. After Su Qingsang left, the expression on his face relaxed a little. He closed his eyes and sniffed. There was still the faint fragrance of Su Qingsang in the air. Zhang Yichen abruptly opened his eyes and looked at a spot in the garden. He didn't know if it was an illusion, but he keenly sensed that someone was spying on him just now. The feeling of being watched was very obvious. If he hadn't been distracted just now, he would have realized it. Zhang Yichen's expression was serious. He stared in that direction for a long time, but the feeling disappeared. His face darkened slightly. He suddenly realized that he had been too careless. He should have been more careful not to let anyone see anything. After all, he could restrain that little bit of lustful thoughts. But was it really just a little bit? They had only met a few times, and they had only interacted for a short time. But he couldn't help but think about it. If only she wasn't Hu Jinyao's wife. If only she hadn't gotten married so early. He even thought that if the person she married was him, would she also show such a gentle smile in front of him, with a tinge of shyness? Closing his eyes, Zhang Yichen suppressed this crazy thought in time. He clenched his fists so tightly that the veins on the back of his hands were bulging. He couldn't think about it anymore. If someone found out about it, it wouldn't end well for him and Su Qingsang. Zhang Yichen glanced at the place again, thinking about the possibility of who was there. Finally he turned and left. When Su Qingsang got home, she found that Hu Jinyao had come home earlier than her. She was a little surprised. Ms. Yu was cooking in the kitchen, while Hu Jinyao was sitting on a chair on the balcony. It was so cold outside, but he didn't come in. He didn't notice that she was back. Su Qingsang frowned, put down the things, changed her shoes and walked out. Jinyao. Hu Jinyao turned around and smiled when he saw Su Qingsang. You're back. Su Qingsang blinked and looked at him. The lights on the balcony were off. She seemed to have seen a flash of gloominess in Hu Jinyao's eyes. But now, he was only looking at her with a faint smile, as if that emotion just now was her illusion. Are you okay? I'm fine. Why did you come out here to stand in the cold wind alone? The heating in Rong City hadn't been turned off yet, so it was very cold outside. She felt cold even standing there, not to mention how long he had been standing in the cold wind. Su Qingsang suddenly reached out and held his hand. She found that his hand was not as warm as it used to be. Instead, it was ice cold. Su Qingsang glared at him. Hu Jinyao, you call this okay? The concern in her eyes was real. Hu Jinyao looked at her and suddenly reached out to pull her into his arms. Su Qingsang was stunned for a second, then hugged him with both hands around his waist. His clothes were cold from the wind. She leaned her face against it, feeling a little uncomfortable from the coldness. Huijinyao. She didn't look up, but slightly tightened her arms. I'm your wife. You can tell me if you need anything. Yes. Maybe I can't help you with your business. I can't even help you with other things. But at least I can listen. Su Qingsang's voice was very soft, but it sounded in the dark night. Huijinyao was still silent. He couldn't say it. He looked at Su Qingsang and thought about what Micah said in the afternoon. He couldn't say it. He couldn't tell Su Qingsang that his mother, his father, his cousin, and his uncle, almost everyone didn't want him to live well. Huijinyao closed his eyes and rested his chin on the top of Su Qingsang's head. There was a light fragrance in her hair, and he felt that the smell was very comfortable. Her body was very soft. Compared to his figure, it was delicate and soft. Hugging her in his arms, it made his heart soften. Chapter 5:10. Su Qingsang looked up at him with her clear eyes. If there was moonlight, he could see his shadow in her eyes. But even without moonlight, Huijinyao knew that her eyes were full of him. His heart moved slightly, but he didn't respond to her words. Huijinyao, if you don't want to tell me, I won't ask. But I hope you understand. We are husband and wife. Since we are husband and wife, we are one. You can try talking to me too. He tried to trust her and tell her about his troubles. She might not be able to help, but at least there was someone to share his worries with and listen to him. Huijinyao's response was to reach out and hug her tightly. Ms. Yu's voice came from inside. Dinner was ready. Su Qingsang patted Huijinyao's back and said, Let's go. Let's go eat. Huijinyao let go of her and looked at Su Qingsang's beautiful face. He lowered his head and planted a light kiss on her forehead. Don't worry. I'm fine. Su Qingsang didn't believe him, but since he said so, she could only believe him. She felt a little disappointed in her heart that she didn't even know about. She was almost a blank piece of paper in front of him. Whether it was her family background or her thoughts, everything was under his control. He knew everything clearly, but she felt that he still had secrets, things that he didn't want to share with her. That didn't feel good. She thought that maybe he really didn't want to tell her, because of work. Or maybe because she wouldn't understand even if he told her. That little bit of discomfort was suppressed in a corner of her heart and became a small seed. Huijinyao looked at the documents handed to him by the person in front of him and glanced at her. Ding Qing, the new female secretary, was here to replace Zhang Yang. She graduated from MIT, had a good education background, and had a very good resume. Such a talent came to Tianyu Group as a secretary. It didn't mean that Tianyu Group's secretaries were bad. It was because with Ding Qing's resume, she could get a better position. However, Huijinyao later watched the video of her interview and the reason why she came to apply for the job. According to her, her mother had been in poor health recently, so she wanted to come back and spend more time with her. Another reason was that Huijinyao had worked with the company she used to work for. She liked the way Huijinyao's company did things, and she hoped to learn new things from Tianyu Group. She had been in the company for more than a week, and her performance was indeed quite outstanding. Not only was she able to do the things that Yang Wenchang arranged for her, but there were also some things that she could do well even without his arrangement. Usually, Huijinyao didn't use female secretaries. However, Ding Qing was indeed very capable. Therefore, 1 week was enough for him to change his mind about replacing her. Ding Qing stood there, looking a little nervous. He looked at Huijinyao with uncertainty in his eyes. President Hua, are the documents all right? No. Huijinyao withdrew his gaze, signed the document, and handed it to her. Zhang Yang will go on vacation in 2 days. Tell him to hand over the rest of the work to you. Yes. I know. Zhang Yang has told me what to do. Ding Qing smiled and held the document in her hands in front of her chest. It seemed that the document was a little lower than her chest. Because of that, the 2 lumps in her chest seemed to be completely squeezed together. Huijinyao didn't see that, but Ding Qing looked at Huijinyao's eyes with concern. President Hua, you don't look so good. Did you not sleep well yesterday? Do you want me to make you a cup of coffee? Sure. Huijinyao did not sleep well yesterday. He didn't know if it was because of what Micah said, but he had been having nightmares these days. He rubbed between his eyebrows and signaled Ding Qing to leave. A few minutes after Ding Qing left, she came back with a cup of coffee in her hand. There was a small piece of cake on top of it. President Hua, I don't think it's good to drink coffee on an empty stomach. Have a piece of cake. Hua Jinyao glanced at Ding Qing. Her eyes were very calm. President Hua, take care of yourself. I'm still waiting to learn from you. Hua Jinyao looked at her calmness and didn't think much of it. Thank you, but I don't like cake. Oh really? Ding Qing seemed to be very upset. I saw a box of desserts in your office last time. My wife bought it. What he meant was obvious. Since Su Qingsang bought it, even if she didn't like it, she had to eat it. And Ding Qing wasn't qualified. Ding Qing wasn't mad at all, even though it was a very direct sentence. Instead, she stuck out her tongue. I'm sorry, President Hua. I didn't know. It's okay. You can take it out. Hua Jinyao lowered his head and focused on the document in front of him. Ding Qing picked up the piece of cake. The look on her face seemed to be still upset and blaming herself for her mistake. However, when she turned around, the regret in her eyes suddenly disappeared. Was he eating it because his wife bought it? She would like to see if Hua Jinyao would eat it when she brought it to his office again. Hua Jinyao came out of the shower with a towel on his head. He casually dried his hair with the towel, then sat in front of the dressing table, waiting for Su Qingsang to dry his hair for him. However, he was about to be disappointed. Su Qingsang was video chatting with Li Qinxue. After all this time, Li Qinxue's company had stabilized. She also found a professional manager to help her. Now that the company was stable, she looked much better. At the moment, she was talking to Su Qingsang about Old Master Li's birthday. Old Master Li's birthday was on the 3rd of next month. It was not many days away, although it wasn't a birthday celebration. Old Master Li had just reunited with his granddaughter, and he hoped that Su Qingsang could come home to celebrate his birthday. However, even if Old Master Li wanted to, he didn't want to add to Su Qingsang's troubles. So, he could only talk about it in front of Li Qinxue. Li Qinxue found it funny, but also sad. Her daughter had never been taken care of for even a day. When she reunited with her granddaughter, she was married to a place so far away. I know you're busy with work, but your grandpa really wants you to come home. Qingsang, can you arrange it? Li Qinxue was a little careful with her words. She was really afraid that Su Qingsang wouldn't be willing. Speaking of which, during this period of time, the relationship between mother and daughter had improved a lot. But she still often worried that her daughter would choose to resent her because of the previous 20 years of neglect. Even though she knew that Su Qingsang wasn't that kind of person, some thoughts couldn't be suppressed. Mom, what are you talking about? Of course I have to come back for Grandpa's birthday. In the past, when she wasn't the granddaughter of the Li family, she would appear on Old Master Li's birthday, not to mention now that she was Old Master Li's biological granddaughter. Really? Okay, then I'll talk to your grandpa. The smile on Li Qinxue's face became a little more sincere. Su Qingsang also felt very happy. She actually missed Li Qinxue very much, although they could video chat every day and talk on the phone. But seeing her in person was still different from seeing her on video. Okay, you tell Grandpa that I will definitely come back. Then let Jinyao come back together. It was not right for her grandson-in-law to not be there. Okay, I'll tell him. Su Qingsang finished speaking, but there was one thing she didn't say. That was, what about Su Qinghui? Should he go back? However, looking at Li Qinshue's happy face, she didn't mention Su Qinghui in the end to make Li Qinxue unhappy. After ending the call, she saw Hua Jinyao sitting in the back. His hair was slightly wet, and his expression was a little sad. Hey, you took a shower? Then I'll go take a shower. Su Qingsang put down her phone and was about to get up, but Hua Jinyao grabbed her hand. Honey, help me dry my hair. Su Qingsang glanced at him, took the hairdryer from the side, and began to dry his hair for him. She also told him that she was going back to Lin City next month. Although it was next month, it was actually almost next week. It's Grandpa's birthday, so of course we have to go back. After Hua Jinyao finished speaking, As if he suddenly thought of something, he said, "There are a lot of things to do in the company recently. I'll make some arrangements and go back with you when the time comes." "Thank you. You're so nice." Su Qingseng was very happy. She was so happy that she bent down to kiss Hu Jiniao's face. For a moment, she forgot that she still had the hairdryer in her hand. Ugh! Hu Jiniao groaned in pain. Only then did she realize that she had hurt him. "Are you okay? Let me see. Where are you hurt?" Hu Jiniao put her on his lap and turned off the hairdryer. Seeing the worried look on her face, he leaned over and kissed her on the lips. "You're sad. You were so happy when you talked about going back to Lin City. I'm hurt. I need you to comfort me." Su Qingseng looked at his playful face and said, "How do you want me to comfort you? What do you think?" Hu Jiniao put his arm around her waist, looked at her tender red lips, and kissed them hard. Every day after Hu Jiniao went into the company, Ding Qing was responsible for telling him about his schedule for the day. Today, Hu Jiniao didn't ask her to leave as he usually did. "Book 2 tickets for me on the second flight to Lin City." In the past, Zhang Yang had been the one to do all these things. After saying that, he noticed that Ding Qing was standing still and looking up at him. "What's wrong? Is there a problem?" "No problem." Ding Qing nodded. "President Hua, are you going to Lin City with Assistant Yang on a business trip?" "No. I'm going to Lin City with my wife." Ding Qing's hand that was holding the pen slightly tightened, but she smiled and nodded. "Okay. I'll go now." Hu Jiniao thought that Su Qingseng would want to see Li Qianxue as soon as possible, so he asked Ding Qing to book the tickets for the morning. He waved his hand and let her go. After Ding Qing went back to her office, she didn't hurry to book the tickets. Instead, she took out her phone and dialed a few numbers. President Hua is going to Lin City on the 2nd of next month. She told Ding Qing what she had heard. She didn't know what the other side of the phone said, but a bright smile appeared on her face. Chapter 511. After saying that, she kept listening to the man's voice. The smile on her face never faded. "Okay, I got it. I'll be careful. Don't worry. He doesn't suspect me for now. If you don't believe me, you can do it yourself." When Ding Qing smiled, there was a hint of playfulness in her eyes. More than that, she was confident. After hanging up, Ding Qing held the phone in her hand and spun it in a circle. She fixed her eyes on the desktop on the screen, which she had specially set up. It was Hu Jiniao's photo. Su Qingseng gave the leave request to Sun Huiya to sign. She was actually quite embarrassed. She had asked for leave several times in the past 2 months. She had been accompanying Shi Mingwan before, but this time, she was going back to Lin City. Although it hadn't been long, she still felt embarrassed. "It's okay. I know you're from Lin City." Sun Huiya understood her well. "How about I give you one more day? You can come back to work on Tuesday. You can have a good rest then." Su Qingseng had been doing well since she came to the hospital. She had been very cooperative and good. Sun Huiya didn't mind taking care of her. "That's great. Thank you, Director Sunday." After asking for leave, Su Qingseng started thinking about what she should buy for Old Master Li and Li Qianxue in Lin City after work. After all, her flight was tomorrow. She should ask Hu Jiniao. She had given Old Master Hu a parrot before, so she couldn't give him another parrot. She couldn't take it to Lin City either. She was still thinking about it. The emergency room downstairs sent a pregnant woman who had been in a car accident. Her condition was complicated. The emergency room said that Su Qingseng had seen this pregnant woman before, and the hospital had a record of it. Hearing that, Su Qingseng hurried forward. Su Qingseng looked at the woman. She looked familiar. Su Qingseng didn't remember who she was until the nurse brushed the woman's hair away from her face. Wasn't this the woman Li Hong, who had tried to blackmail Zhang Yichen a month ago? This time, the woman wasn't pretending. She was really hit by a car. Su Qingseng looked at the big pool of blood on her body and said, "Hurry, get ready for surgery." The driver who drove her here was obviously frightened. He kept explaining, "I didn't hit her. She rushed out on her own. I didn't have time to avoid her." "Don't say anything. Now is not the time to blame anyone. We need to save people." Su Qingseng didn't have time to argue with this man. Li Hong was 6 months pregnant the last time she was here. Now she was 7 months pregnant. This was a good time, but also not a good one. If they were lucky, the child could be saved. If they were unlucky, the child might not be born safely, and the pregnant woman might not even be able to keep her life. Su Qingseng didn't have the energy to deal with the car owner. She ordered the doctors to prepare the operating room and push Li Hong into the delivery room. At the same time, he instructed Li Meilin to make sure that the pregnant woman's family members signed the paperwork when they arrived. After explaining everything, Su Qingseng followed him into the operating room. When he really went in, he found that the situation was quite bad. Since Li Hong was hit by a car, her whole body was sent flying. Her uterus had ruptured and she was bleeding profusely. She had to get the baby out as soon as possible. Sun Huiya heard about the situation and quickly came over. Looking at Li Hong, who had fainted from the pain, Su Qingseng voiced her opinion. Director Sunday, the pregnant woman's uterus ruptured. We have to do the surgery as soon as possible. And, I know, in such a situation, the pregnant woman's uterus might not be able to be saved. They had to do everything they could to save the baby. Su Qingseng and Sun Huiya had been working together a lot lately. They both knew what the other was thinking. After the surgery and emergency treatment, Li Hong's baby was finally separated from the mother's body. The baby is in good condition. Send it to the incubator for observation. After making sure that the baby was fine, Su Qingseng and Sun Huiya started to do emergency treatment for Li Hong. Not only her, but 2 doctors from the surgery department also came to help. After the C-section, Sun Huiya checked the condition of the uterus and said with a serious face, Qingseng, I'm afraid her uterus can't be saved. The uterus was ruptured and bleeding profusely. It had to be removed. However, Sun Huiya had been a doctor for many years and had seen many cases. Li Hong had just given birth to a daughter. If Li Hong had a son before, it would be fine. What if it was her only child? It would be fine if the parents didn't value boys over girls. If the parents did, they would come to the hospital and cause a scene. Qingseng, you don't need to worry about this. You can go now. I'll take care of the rest. They had been working in the hospital for a long time and were considered senior staff. However, Su Qingseng was different. She had only been working in the hospital for less than 3 months. She was still in her internship. If the family of the patient caused a scene, the hospital wouldn't do anything to them. However, Su Qingseng wouldn't be able to escape. Director Sun, don't say anything. I won't leave. Let's finish the surgery first. She would be lying if she said she wasn't touched. She had been working in the hospital for less than 2 months. She was happy that Sun Huiya was so considerate of her. However, she didn't think she did anything wrong. The most important thing was that Li Hong's life was still in danger. If there was anything else, it could wait until Li Hong was saved. After 3 hours of emergency treatment, Li Hong's life was finally saved. When Su Qingseng walked out of the surgery room, Li Hong's family was already there. This time, they didn't look as fierce as last time. The leader was Li Hong's husband. He looked anxious. Doctor, are my wife and son okay? Su Qingseng looked at the man in front of her. She raised her eyebrows slightly when she heard the word son. Your wife is fine. She just gave birth to a daughter for you. Both of them are safe now. What? Daughter? The anxious look on Li Hong's husband's face disappeared immediately. How can it be a daughter? I went to the master, and he said it was a son. Su Qingseng wanted to say that Li Hong's uterus had been removed, and she couldn't have a child anymore. However, before she could say anything, she was shocked by what Li Hong's husband did next. Damn it. The master said it was a son. How did it turn out to be a daughter? No, I'm going to get even with him. Su Qingseng wanted to ask the man to go check on Li Hong and her daughter. To her surprise, Li Hong's husband ran out of the hospital without looking back. She had been working in the hospital for many years and had seen a lot of things. However, Su Qingseng didn't expect something like this to happen. She thought about it carefully and found it reasonable. If Li Hong's husband was a good person, he wouldn't allow his pregnant wife to blackmail others. However, Su Qingseng didn't know what to do now. She turned around and looked at Li Meilin. Take the pregnant woman back to the ward. Find 2 volunteers to take care of her. Li Hong's husband didn't look like he would take care of his wife. I know. Li Meilin nodded. Before she left, she looked at Su Qingsang worriedly. Dr. Su, I think I need to warn you. What? The pregnant woman's family is not to be trifled with. They still don't know that her uterus has been removed. If they find out. Li Meilin didn't finish her sentence, but Su Qingsang understood what she meant. She patted Su Qingsang's shoulder. Don't worry. They signed it. They signed it. Plus, it was a critical situation. I had to do it. If they want to get even with me, I'll reason with them. If they didn't reason with her, she wouldn't be able to do anything about it. She could just go through the legal process. Su Qingsang's plan was simple. Li Meilin wanted to persuade her, but Su Qingsang had already signed the papers and organized the surgery records. Su Qingsang waited until she got off work, but Li Hong's husband didn't come back to the hospital. She had seen this kind of situation before and wasn't a stranger to it. However, she still felt a little uncomfortable. She couldn't suppress the discomfort until she got home. Li Hong had woken up in the hospital, but she didn't know what she would do if she found out that her husband was in such a state. You're back. I came to see you. Su Qingsang's thoughts finally came to an end at the door. Not only did Hu Jinyao come back early today, but he also prepared the gifts she was going to give her tomorrow. Come and have a look. This is for your mother, this is for Su Yusin, and this is for Grandpa. It's not a birthday gift. I've ordered a birthday gift for someone else. Send it directly to Lin City, and we'll bring it to the Li family the day after tomorrow. What is it? Su Qingsang looked at Hu Jinyao's proud face and asked curiously, what did you prepare? I'm not telling you. Anyway, I can tell you. Grandpa will love it. It's not a parrot, is it? Do you think I'm like you? Hu Jinyao raised his eyebrows slightly and said teasingly, what's wrong with me? Su Qingsang didn't think that she gave the wrong bird. That parrot was so smart. It could even quarrel with people. Unknowingly, it would make the Hu family more lively. Old Master Hu wouldn't be lonely because of it. How nice would that be? How dare you say that my parrot is a bad gift? Su Qingsang looked fierce. If Hu Jinyao said yes, she would fight him to the death. Hu Jinyao raised his hands and surrendered. I was wrong. How could a gift from my wife be bad? Of course it's the best gift. That's more like it. Su Qingsang smiled. Since Hu Jinyao had bought the gifts, she couldn't think of anything better. Moreover, she couldn't think of anything better. So naturally, she gave the gift according to what Hu Jinyao had bought. After dinner, she packed up her belongings and put away the gifts. They had a home in Lin City, so they didn't need to bring too many things. It was just one suitcase for 2 people. Su Qingsang was happy when she thought that she could go back to Lin City tomorrow. She temporarily forgot about the episode in the hospital. The next day, Su Qingsang got up very early. Yang Wenchang came to the house early in the morning. He was responsible for driving Hu Jinyao and Su Qingsang to the hospital today. Chapter 512. Hu Jinyao hung up the phone and looked at Su Qingsang guiltily. What's wrong? Su Qingsang had a hunch when she saw his face. There's an emergency at the company. I need to go back. Then, he wasn't going to Lin City with her? You go first. I'll book a flight in the afternoon. Hu Jinyao wasn't sure either. His expression was a bit serious. Okay. Looking at his expression, Su Qingsang thought for a moment, then added, if you can't make it in time, then forget it. Business is more important. Hu Jinyao leaned over and kissed her on the cheek. Don't worry. I'll deal with it as soon as possible. Of course, Su Qingsang believed him, but she had a bad feeling about it. Hu Jinyao drove Su Qingsang to the airport first. Then he left in a hurry. Su Qingsang looked at his back and suddenly felt a sense of emptiness in her heart. They had just parted. Why did she already start to miss him? Lin City. Li Qianxue was asking Xiaoyu and the others to redecorate Su Qingsang's room. The quilt and sheets had been exposed to the sun. She was still worried, so she looked at it again. Su Yusin stood next to her and watched Li Qianxue with a faint smile on his face. Mom, you've forgotten about me as soon as my sister came back. What are you talking about? Li Qianxue turned and glared at him, but her eyes were full of joy. She's alone in Rong City. Except for the old master. The rest of the Hua family doesn't seem easy to get along with. I'm worried about her. Especially when she thought of Lu Tongjia. Li Qianxue couldn't help but worry about Su Qingsang. She knew that Hua Jinyao was very good to Su Qingsang, and that he would take good care of her. But to survive in a family like that, all she needed was her husband's love. However, Li Qianxue usually didn't show such worries in front of Su Qingsang. And Su Qingsang never talked about how the Hua family was in front of her. She knew very well that Su Qingsang didn't want her to worry. With Su Qingsang's personality, even if something happened, she probably wouldn't tell her. Don't worry. I think big sister is very smart. She won't let herself be taken advantage of. Su Yusin had a deeper understanding of Su Qingsang after this interaction. He looked quiet, but he had his own plans. The Hua family might not be able to bully her. After all, Su Qingsang wasn't a little white rabbit. Of course. Don't you know whose daughter she is? When Li Qianxue said this, there was a hint of pride on her face. Seeing the happiness on her face, Su Yusin really didn't want to spoil her mood, but there were some things that had to be said. Mom, Grandpa's birthday, do you think Sister Peixian? At the mention of Su Peixian, Li Qianxue's face darkened. Although she didn't allow Su Peixian to stay in the Su family in a moment of impulse, Li Qianxue didn't think that she had chased Su Peixian out, nor did she really want to cut off all ties with her. After all, she had raised Su Peixian for more than 20 years. It would be a lie to say that she had no feelings for Su Peixian. But look at Su Peixian's behavior. Ever since she left the Su family, she hadn't even called her once, let alone visited her. No matter what, she was still her adoptive mother, right? After more than 20 years of affection, Su Peixian could be so cold-blooded. Should she, as an elder, take the initiative to contact Su Peixian? Li Qianxue couldn't do such a thing. She was also a person with her own pride. If Su Peixian didn't treat her as a mother, why should she treat her as a daughter? If Sister Peixian comes to celebrate Grandpa's birthday, then if she comes, she will naturally still be a daughter of the Su family. She would be a daughter of the Su family, but not her daughter. After all, Old Master Li had doted on Su Peixian for so many years. If Su Peixian had a conscience, she would come tomorrow. However, if she really didn't come, then Li Qianxue really didn't want to recognize this daughter anymore. Su Yusin didn't speak. During this period, he had actually tried to contact Su Peixian, but unfortunately, Su Peixian hadn't responded to him. She didn't pick up his calls, and she didn't reply to his messages. He even sent her an email, but he didn't get the slightest response. He knew that Su Peixian still couldn't accept the fact that she wasn't Li Qianxue's child. However, some things, since they had already happened, could only be accepted. If she continued to be like this, Su Yusin would actually feel very embarrassed. Because at the mention of Su Peixian, Li Qianxue noticed that Su Yusin's tone wasn't very good. However, soon, she heard from Xiaoyu that Su Qingsang had arrived. Li Qianxue immediately smiled. She quickly went downstairs. Su Qingsang had told Li Qianxue her flight time before, and she had specially sent someone to pick Su Qingsang up. Now that she was back, Old Master Li was very happy. However, he didn't forget to look behind her. Where's Jinyao? Grandpa, Jinyao has something to do at the company, but he promised me that he will fly over as soon as he is done. Su Qingsang didn't say when he would be busy. She had an intuition that this time, it wouldn't be so easy to solve. In fact, it wasn't that she didn't see that Hua Jinyao was acting strangely during this period. He obviously had more social engagements and spent more time on work. She could see the fatigue in his eyes, but she couldn't help him. It's okay. It's good that you're back. Old Master Li hadn't seen Su Qingsang for a while and really missed this granddaughter. He looked up and down, and there was some dissatisfaction in his eyes. Why do you look thinner? Is it because you're too tired? Of course not. Su Qingsang pinched her arm as she spoke. I don't even know how much muscle has grown out, and you still say that I've lost weight. I think you've lost weight. Li Qianxue came downstairs. When she saw Su Qingsang, she also felt that her daughter had lost weight. Is it because you're too tired from work? I don't think there's a time when you're not tired. In my opinion, you'd better change your job. It's really too hard to be a doctor. Mom, I'm already doing very well. It's considered easy. Look at the hospital's emergency department and surgery department. Which department wasn't busier than the obstetrics and gynecology department? How is it easy? Li Qianxue walked up to her daughter, took her hand, and looked her up and down. I think you've lost weight. You don't have to be a doctor. Go to Hua Jinyao's company and get a free job as the young mistress of the Hua family. Mom! Su Qingsang was about to laugh. What can I do at his company? Bring tea and water to him? He wouldn't dare. Li Qianxue was very protective. My daughter isn't going to be his tea girl. Even if he's Hua Jinyao, he can't. Li Qianxue's eyes suddenly lit up. That's right. Why don't I open a branch office in Rong City? You can work at the branch office. She thought it was a good idea. Su Qingsang quickly dissuaded her. Mom, stop it. I'm not a business student. You said you'd open a company for me. What can I do if you really open a company? Then you'll just sit and watch others work. Mom. Su Qingsang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why didn't she know that Li Qianxue had such a reckless side? Aren't you afraid that I'll make the company close down? So be it. We'll open another one then. Su Qingsang couldn't stand it anymore. Now she could really understand why Su Peijian used to be so arrogant. With such a doting attitude, it would be strange if the child didn't become unruly. Mom, don't worry. I'll definitely take good care of my body. These days, there are indeed a little more things to do in the hospital. But don't worry, after this period, it shouldn't be so busy. After all, the country had just allowed the second child not long ago. It was normal for the hospital to have a few more children. After this period, she believed that she wouldn't be so busy. That's what you said. Li Qianxue looked at Su Qingsang, afraid that she was lying to her. When the time comes, if you don't gain some weight, I won't be satisfied. I promise. Su Qingsang raised her hand and saluted. Not only Li Qianxue, but even old Master Li and Su Yusin laughed. Su Qingsang took out the gift that Hua Jinyao had prepared. What the gift was not important to old Master Li and the others at all. What was important was the intention of his granddaughter. The atmosphere of the family was quite harmonious and beautiful. In such an atmosphere, Su Qingsang put aside the little bit of melancholy that Hua Jinyao couldn't be with her all the time. On the other side, Hua Jinyao and Yang Wenchang returned to the company. They went upstairs, but before they could enter the office, they were blocked by someone. He Xianyao and Ding Qing stood opposite each other. He Xianyao seemed to want to go to Hua Jinyao's office. Ding Qing was blocking He Xuanyao's way. I told you President Hua isn't here today. I don't believe you. I heard you on the phone just now. Didn't he say that he would be back soon? It's been so long. He should be back, right? President Hua really didn't come back. Before Ding Qing could finish, Hua Jinyao and Yang Wenchang arrived. Seeing that it was him, He Xianyao gave Ding Qing a hateful glare, then rushed up to him. Hua Jinyao. She might be really angry, because her tone wasn't very nice. Not only did she not call him President Hua, but she also didn't call him Brother Jinyao. Hua Jinyao still had work to deal with, so he didn't have time to deal with this spoiled girl. He didn't expect that He Xianyao would stand in front of him again when he was about to walk past her to enter the office. Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao looked at He Xianyao in front of him with cold eyes. What do you want? Can't I come to you if I don't have anything to say? He Xuanyao's voice was full of grievance when she said that. In fact, she couldn't stand it anymore after working at Tianyu Group. She didn't expect Hua Jinyao to be so cruel. He demoted her to the marketing department and said that she was going to study. The so-called study was being tortured by her ugly and bad-tempered boss every day. He said that she was doing market research, but he made her stand outside in the cold wind. She didn't see anyone, and she had to wait outside for people to come and do questionnaires. Chapter 513. Moreover, He Xianyao didn't believe that the headquarters of Tianyu Group needed someone to do a questionnaire. If their company wanted to collect data, they already had professionals. Not to mention a big company like Tianyu Group. She didn't want to do it, So the ugly man told her to get out. She didn't want to leave. At least, she didn't want to leave like this. She hadn't proven her ability in front of Hu Jinniao. How could she leave? It wasn't easy for her. She had to beg people to collect the data. The ugly man said that the data she collected couldn't be trusted, and that there was too little data. What did that mean? If he didn't deliberately make things difficult for her, then He Xianyao would really be an idiot. Today was the same thing. He said that the data from a few days ago didn't count, and forced her to investigate again. He Xianyao had an argument with her boss downstairs. After the argument, she said that she wanted to resign and left. However, when she really came out, she thought of what Lu Tongjia had told her, and didn't want to leave. After thinking about it, she had to go upstairs to find Hu Jinniao and ask for an explanation from him. In what capacity? Hu Jinniao's voice was indifferent. He looked at He Xianyao politely. I'm just looking for you. Do I still need your status? He Xianyao was furious. What else? Hu Jinniao looked at He Xianyao as if she was an idiot. If you came to me as an employee, then you can write a report and give it to your boss. He can give it to me. If you came to me as a private person, then I'm sorry. I have nothing to say to you. And I have nothing to say to you. Hu Jinniao. He Xianyao had been pampered since she was a child. All the grievances she had suffered came from Hu Jinniao. Why do you have to treat me like this? I just like you. You like me, so I should let you like me. What kind of logic was that? Besides, I have a wife. Don't you know? She doesn't deserve you. Speaking of this, He Xianyao was very unconvinced. Even Auntie doesn't like her. How can a woman like her deserve you? She doesn't deserve you, but you do. Hu Jinniao glanced at He Xianyao coldly and said, It seems that Miss He didn't look at herself in the mirror before going out. He Xianyao was on the verge of tears. She had never expected Hu Jinniao to be so vicious. No matter what, I'm Li Juanxing's cousin. You have such a good relationship with my cousin. Is this how you bully me? Junxing is Junsheng, and you are you. If you continue to pester me so unreasonably, I won't give face to Lian Junxing anymore. His expression told He Xianyao that he was telling the truth. He was serious. She burst into tears, turned around, and left without looking back. Yang Wenchang and Ding Qing were still standing there when she was talking to Hu Jinniao. The only difference was that Yang Wenchang already knew that He Xianyao would be put in a difficult position. In fact, he was the one who asked Zhang to do it. Apparently, it was the first time that Ding Qing had seen Hu Jinniao like that. She stood there without moving, staring at Hu Jinniao. So, he was this ruthless to other women? Ding Qing didn't expect that. Recently, Hu Jinniao hadn't been gentle to her, but he had been polite. After all, she was confident in her abilities. Occasionally, Hu Jinniao would praise her for doing a good job. Only now did she realize that he was being polite when he was usually cold. Hu Jinniao came back to his senses and found that his secretary was in a daze. He frowned slightly and said, Secretary Ding? Is there anything else? I'm sorry, President Hua. Ding Qing apologized immediately. I'm really sorry. I tried to stop her, but she just didn't want to listen to me. It's okay. It's not your fault. Hu Jinniao thought of the phone call earlier. He wasn't in the mood to deal with He Xianyao. If she wanted to stay, she had to follow the rules of Tianyu Group. If she wanted to leave, he would be more than happy to let her go. By the way, President Hua, I've put the documents on your desk. You see, I'll go now. Hu Jinniao strode towards his office. Ding Qing narrowed her eyes and stopped thinking. She quickly followed Hu Jinniao into his office. Old Master Li's birthday wasn't a birthday celebration, so he didn't plan to make it a big one. He only invited Old Master Li's cousin, Old Master Li, and his great-aunt. They also invited their children and grandchildren. It was about the same as the last time Su Qingsang invited them. Although Li Qianxue prepared a room for Su Qingsang, she thought that Hu Jinniao would come back with her. Hu Jinniao didn't come back, so she dragged Su Qingsang to sleep with her. The mother and daughter chatted for the whole night. They were so close that Su Yusen still looked jealous when he got up and left the room this morning. Mom, you're so biased. Now that my sister is back, you're ignoring me. Li Qianxue looked at her son's jealous face and reached out to poke his forehead. How old are you? Why are you still jealous of your sister? Don't you think that you're both boys? Why? Do you still need your mother to coax you to sleep? Su Yusin hooked his arm around Li Qianshua's arm. Mom, I'm just jealous. What? You're the only one who can be biased, but I can't be jealous? Su Qingsang was amused. Don't be jealous. I'll be leaving in 2 days anyway. I'll return Mom to you then. She suddenly turned serious and looked at Su Yusin with a sad face. Speaking of which, if brother doesn't like me coming back, then I won't come back next time. No. I just said it casually. Su Yusin quickly reached out to put his arm around her shoulder. Sister, don't take it seriously. Su Qingsang looked at his hand on her shoulder and suddenly laughed. Yes, I'm also joking. Don't take it seriously. Well, you actually scared me. When Su Yusin spoke, he wanted to tickle Su Qingsang. How could Su Qingsang let him do what he wanted? After a cry, she quickly ran downstairs. Su Yusin hurriedly followed behind. Li Qianxue looked at her 2 children laughing and joking like this, as if the previous gap of more than 20 years did not exist. She curled her lips because of this recognition. The current state was very good. She liked the current state. If possible, she really hoped that Su Qingsang and Su Yusin would be by her side forever. However, she also knew that that could only be her wishful thinking. After Su Qingsang got married, she would be a member of the Hua family in the future. Su Yusin was still young, even though he had already been recommended. Although he had been recommended, he still had to go to school in the future. After the children grew up and left, she would be alone again. This thought disappeared when she went downstairs and saw Su Yusin and Su Qingsang sitting together. Chapter 514. After breakfast, Su Qingsang sat with old Master Li for a while, then used the bathroom as an excuse to hide and call Hua Jinyao. Today was old Master Li's birthday. She wanted to see if he could make it. When Hua Jinyao didn't show up last night, she knew that he wouldn't be able to make it. She believed that he had important business matters to attend to since he didn't return to Lin City with her to celebrate old Master Li's birthday. However, she still hoped that Hua Jinyao could rush over at the last minute. Although she had already guessed that Hua Jinyao might not be able to leave, Su Qingsang couldn't hide her nervousness when the call was connected. Jinyao, wife, I was so busy yesterday that I forgot to call you. I'm fine. Even through the phone, Su Qingsang could hear the hoarseness in his voice. Jinyao, are you okay? I'm fine. Hua Jinyao sounded more energetic than before. Honey, I'm afraid I can't come to celebrate Grandpa's birthday. It's okay. Grandpa won't mind. Yesterday, she didn't say anything definite in front of her grandfather. She only said that Hua Jinyao would rush over after finishing his work. He believed that Grandpa would understand. Take care of yourself. Don't get too tired. Su Qingsang thought for a moment and added, and remember to eat. I know. I will. The corners of Hua Jinyao's lips curled up slightly. Because of Su Qingsang's concern, he became much gentler. Honey. Hua Jinyao suddenly called her name. I miss you. They had only been apart for a day, but Hua Jinyao already missed her. If she was here, even if she didn't do anything, even if she didn't know anything, as long as she was by his side, he always felt a lot more at ease. Even if she couldn't help her in business, as long as she was in his arms, he would feel at ease. I missed you too. Her eyes were shining. It's okay. I'll be back in a couple of days. Yes. I'll be waiting for you. Hua Jinyao hung up the phone. His face was no longer as relaxed as before. He looked at the stack of documents in front of him, and his face was unprecedentedly serious. Li Qianxue confirmed the lunch menu with the kitchen again. When he came out, he found Su Qingsang hiding in the corridor and talking on the phone. By the time she saw it, she had already hung up. Mom. Su Qingsang walked towards her quickly. Are you looking for me? Are you calling Jinyao? How is it? Can he come over? Su Qingsang shook her head, looking a little guilty. Something urgent happened in his company, and he had to deal with it. That's why he couldn't make it. I'm fine. I understand. Li Qianxue held her hand and asked her to go to the living room with her. If he can't come, then so be it. In any case, The people who came today were all family members. You've seen many of them before. Yes, I know. My paternal grandfather and his descendants, as well as my paternal aunt and her descendants. Besides, he had seen them before, but he didn't interact much with them. It's good that they know each other. Anyway, they are relying on the Li family to live. His attitude toward you will definitely be very polite. If anyone is rude to you or gives you a hard time, don't hold it in. Just fight back. Don't think that she didn't know that many of those people had targeted Su Qingsang in the past, openly or secretly. Although these things were related to her attitude in the past. But the past was the past, and now was the present. Now the situation was different. Of course, she wouldn't let anyone bully her daughter again. Not even the slightest bit of attitude was allowed. Mom, I know. Don't worry. They won't. Not to mention that she had acknowledged Li Qianxue now, just based on her identity as the wife of the president of Tianyu Group. As long as those people weren't stupid, they wouldn't think of provoking her, right? I know they won't. But I'm afraid that someone won't be smart. Li Qianxue patted Su Qingsang's hand. Anyway, remember, in this family, no one can make you feel wronged. Mom. Su Qingsang's eyes were a little sore and touched. She rubbed her face against Li Qianxue's shoulder. Her voice was very soft. You're going to spoil me. What's wrong with spoiling you? Li Qianxue didn't think she was going too far. I think it's too late. If she had known earlier, she would have loved her daughter earlier. How could things have developed to this point? She had missed so many years with her daughter? Li Qianxue was still upset that she hadn't discovered it earlier. She was gritting her teeth at Su Qinghui, who had caused this situation. However, as soon as she entered the living room with Su Qingsang, she saw a person who shouldn't have been there. Su Qinghui. Seeing that it was him, Li Qianxue's face immediately darkened. She glared at Su Qinghui with a cold face, as if she wanted to stare a hole in his body. Why are you here? Ever since they signed the divorce papers, the two of them hadn't seen each other for nearly 2 months. Because of Su Qinghui's resignation, the Li Corporation's business had been on her shoulders for a long time. Li Qianxue's ability wasn't bad, but the sudden increase of so much work also made her very tired. It was also because of this period of busy work that she didn't have time to think about Su Qinghui. It was very easy for her to know about him, but she didn't want to know. Even when her son or daughter mentioned this person in front of her, she would still be unhappy. Since he had already left, he was no longer here. There was no need for him to come back, let alone show up. If he wanted to see the children, he could just see them outside. This was good for both him and her. She didn't want to see this person. Now that she suddenly saw Su Qinghui, Li Qianxue was really unhappy. The guests in this house hadn't arrived yet. What was Su Qinghui doing here? What are you doing here? Get out. You're not welcome here. Even in front of the two children, Li Qianxue didn't mind making Su Qinghui lose face. In her opinion, she didn't need to give him face at all. After Li Qianxue appeared, Su Qinghui's eyes were fixed on her. They hadn't seen each other for nearly 2 months, and she seemed to have lost a little weight. She looked good. Today was Old Master Li's birthday. She had put on light makeup. Because it was a family banquet, Li Qianxue didn't wear a dress. She was wearing a simple red dress, festive and flamboyant. She was clearly in her 40s, but she was able to completely suppress such a gorgeous color. Just like her personality, she was clear about her likes and dislikes. Like a flame, people couldn't help but be attracted to her. Su Qinghui. Noticing that Su Qinghui was staring at her, Li Qianxue felt even worse. What are you doing here? Today is Dad's birthday. Chapter 5:15. Who's your father? Li Qianxue's eyes were unfriendly, and her expression was cold. Su Qinghui's way of addressing her made her panic. What was he doing? Making connections? Su Qinghui looked at the aggressive Li Qianxue and felt bitter in his heart. Qianxue, no matter what, I've called your father father for more than 20 years. I also sincerely regard your father as my own father. Do you have to do this? Ha! Li Qianxue sneered with a hint of mockery on her face. You regard my father as your father? So you tortured my father's daughter? Replaced my father's granddaughter? Su Qinghui, is this how you regard my father as your own father? Su Yusen and Su Qingseng both stood behind Li Qianxue without moving. Old Master Li seemed to not hear Li Qianxue's words. He just sat on the sofa and looked at the gift in front of him, which was brought by Su Qinghui. No one supported him, no one helped him. Su Qinghui stood there and found that he really seemed to have nothing to do with this family. Su Qinghui was speechless by Li Qianxue. He knew that coming today would not end well, but he had to come. If he didn't come today, he didn't even know what kind of excuse he could find to see Li Qianxue. You should go. I don't want to see you. Su Qinghui knew that if he wanted to save face, he should leave as soon as possible. However, looking at Li Qianxue's beautiful face, he couldn't move his feet at all. He just stood on the ground and looked at Li Qianxue, his eyes burning and his gaze fervent. That kind of gaze made Li Qianxue feel disgusted again, and her tone was even more unfriendly than before. I said get out. Did you hear me? Li Qianxue was really disgusted by the man in front of her. It was so disgusting that when she thought of what Su Qinghui had done, she wanted to bite him a few times to vent her anger. Su Qinghui stood there without moving, just staring at Li Qianxue. That gaze gave Li Qianxue goosebumps. It was not because she was touched, but because she was disgusted. She was about to ask someone to come over and drive Su Qinghui out, but Su Yusen took a step forward and stood in front of Su Qinghui. Dad. Li Qianxue didn't want to see Su Qinghui, but Su Yusen couldn't have the same attitude as Li Qianxue. When Su Qinghui came in, he noticed that he didn't seem to be having a good time. Today, Su Qinghui had specially cleaned himself up for Old Master Li's birthday. If he hadn't cleaned himself up, he would have looked even worse. After all, they were father and son. Su Yusen didn't want to see his father like this. It made him sad. Dad, how have you been lately? You don't seem to have rested well. His eyes were red, and even though his clothes were neat and tidy, he still looked somewhat dispirited. Su Qinghui looked at Su Yusen, his eyes full of gratitude. I've had a lot of things to do in the past 2 days. It'll be fine once I get over it. Dad, you have to take care of yourself. Su Yusen was trying to give Su Qinghui a way out. After saying that, he didn't forget to look at Li Qianxue, his eyes a little pleading. Li Qianxue turned her face away from Su Yusen. She was still angry and hoped that Su Qinghui would leave. She didn't want to see him. Su Yusen could only look at Su Qingseng again. Su Qingseng received her brother's gaze and sighed deeply in her heart. Dad, have you had breakfast yet? As Su Qingseng spoke, she blinked at Su Qinghui. No. Su Qinghui looked at Su Qingseng. He didn't expect it. At a time like this daughter, who had never been close to him, was actually willing to help him once. He looked at Su Qingseng and felt a little hot in his eyes. I just saw that there was a lot of breakfast left in the kitchen. Dad, if you don't mind, why don't you go and eat some? Su Qingseng looked at Su Qinghui with a particularly sincere look in her eyes. It's not good for your stomach if you don't eat breakfast. Dad, you'd better go and eat. Su Qinghui didn't move and looked at Li Qianxue again. How could Li Qianxue not see the look in her daughter's eyes just now? She didn't expect that both Su Qingseng and Su Yusen would stand on Su Qinghui's side. She couldn't tell what she felt in her heart. When she met her daughter's slightly pleading eyes, she turned her face away with hatred. If it was only Su Yusen who said it, she could pretend that she didn't hear it. But Su Qingseng, Li Qianxue almost couldn't bear to refuse any of her requests now. Dad, you should go and eat quickly. As Su Qingseng spoke, she glanced at Su Yusen. Yusen, you didn't eat much just now? Why don't you eat some with Dad? Okay. Su Yusen immediately understood what Su Qingseng meant. Ignoring Su Qinghui, who was still standing there in a daze, he took him in the direction of the dining room. Su Qinghui's footsteps were a little hesitant, but he was pulled to the dining room by Su Yusen. The figures of Su Qinghui and his son disappeared around the corner. Li Qianxue looked at Su Qingseng with a complicated look in her eyes. Mom. Su Qingseng knew that she was unhappy, so she took the initiative to hook her hand. You see, our family doesn't lack breakfast, right? Li Qianxue didn't speak. She wanted to wait for Su Qinghui to finish eating and then drive him away. It wasn't that she was cruel, nor was it that she was too much. It was just that when she thought of what Su Qinghui had done, she really didn't want to see him, not at all. Li Qianxue had a good idea. She wanted to drive Su Qinghui away, but she didn't expect that he hadn't finished eating yet. The guests came. Great-grandfather Li, her great-aunt and their children. They were relatives, and Li Qianxue didn't want to lose face in front of these relatives. In the end, after Su Qinghui finished eating, he actually stayed and didn't leave, and she couldn't drive him away even if she wanted to. After all, with so many relatives here, she couldn't drive Su Qinghui out in front of so many people, could she? The noon banquet was quite lively. The older Old Master Li got, the more he liked to see his children and grandchildren in front of him. The group of people had a lively lunch. Throughout the whole process, except for Su Qingsang and her brother, Su Qinghui had been by Old Master Li's side. He looked like the son-in-law of the Li family. Su Qingsang and Su Yusen glanced at each other from time to time. No matter what happened between Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui, at least the two of them still regarded Su Qinghui as a member of the family. Some relatives didn't know the inside story and thought that Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui were still together. Previously, there was a lot of talk about divorce, but no matter what, they had been husband and wife for so many years. From the looks of it, it was clear that they quarreled at the head of the bed and reconciled at the end. In particular, Li Qianxue's cousin-in-law looked at the two of them with the eyes of an experienced person. The meaning of that look was self-evident. Li Qianxue was so angry that she had a headache. If it weren't for the fact that there were guests, she would have gone up to Su Qinghui and torn that smug smile off his face. In fact, Su Qinghui was not smug at all. Although he was accompanying Old Master Li, he was not a fool. He could see that neither Old Master Li nor Li Qianxue liked him. However, there were guests at home now, and they didn't want to fall out with him in front of the guests, so they tolerated him. Su Qinghui was still following Old Master Li even after the guests left. Su Qingsang and Su Yusen could tolerate it and continue to be a harmonious family with Su Qinghui. But Li Qianxue didn't want to tolerate it. She had tolerated Su Qinghui for a whole day. She wanted to go up and ask Su Qinghui to get out. However, after a day of silence on this matter, Old Master Li finally opened his mouth. "Qinghui, come with me." Since Old Master Li had spoken, Li Qianxue couldn't kick him out even if she wanted to. She could only watch Su Qinghui follow Old Master Li upstairs with hatred. After entering the study, Old Master Li laid out the chessboard, looked at Su Qinghui, and said in a calm voice, "I haven't played chess with you for a while. Let's play a game." Su Qinghui looked at Old Master Li. He didn't think that Old Master Li was still in the mood to play chess with him. However, he still sat down across from Old Master Li. Old Master Li went first with a white piece, then looked at Su Qinghui, indicating for him to continue. The two of them played back and forth. Halfway through the game, Old Master Li suddenly stopped moving his chess piece. "You have a plan in mind, and you have a strategy when you play. Qinghui, your chess skills are much better than before." Su Qinghui was silent. He hadn't had time to play chess in the past 2 months. What Old Master Li said sounded like a sarcastic remark to him. "What? Do you think I'm lying to you?" Old Master Li sighed and put down the chess piece in his hand. "Qinghui, you used to play chess well, but there were always some vacillations just like you. I've always known that you didn't know what you wanted before, and you didn't know what was most important to you. But now looking at your way of playing, you seem to know?" Su Qinghui's eyes were a little hot. He looked at Old Master Li and said in a hoarse voice, "Dad, I was wrong." Old Master Li raised his hand and didn't want to hear Su Qinghui say this. "Qinghui, I don't want to judge whether you were wrong or not. Do you regret it? I don't want to know. I just want to tell you, life is like chess. There are no regrets. Since you have done some things, you have to bear the consequences. Dad, it doesn't matter if you regret it or know that you were wrong. These things have nothing to do with Qianxue now." "Dad." Su Qinghui looked up at him with an indescribable pain in his eyes. "I really regret it. Qinghui, not all regrets have a chance to do it again." The expression on Old Master Li's face was painful and regretful. "In the past, I focused on expanding my business. I always thought that I wanted to make the Li Corporation bigger and stronger. But I really made it big and strong. The person who could share it with me is gone. I often regret it and often reflect on it. I always think that if I were young and didn't focus on business like this, I wouldn't have focused on my career every day. If I didn't focus on my career every day, would Qinshua's mother have lived a few more years? But there's no answer. She's dead. She's gone. No matter how much I regret it, it's useless. Su Qinghui didn't speak. Some things were blinded by a leaf. If he didn't remove the leaf, how could he find out what he really thought? I'm very happy that you still remember my birthday today. I thank you too. But you and Qinshui are just like this. Just like what? He didn't say the rest. But Su Qinghui understood what old Master Li meant. His expression suddenly changed again. Chapter 516. Dad, that's all. Old Master Li looked at Su Qinghui with a complicated look in his eyes. There was a hint of regret in his eyes. Qinshui and I won't stop you from seeing the children, but you and Qinshui don't need to see each other anymore. Su Qinghui's face was pale. He was already in his 40s. He had experienced a lot of storms and waves. But at this moment, he was like a greenhorn, completely at a loss of what to do. Old Master Li and Su Qinghui had been friends for so many years. Although he couldn't bear it, he didn't care. But during this period of time, he could really see it. His daughter didn't miss Su Qinghui at all. As long as his daughter had the slightest bit of nostalgia, he would give Su Qinghui a chance, so that he and Li Qinshui could have another possibility. However, Li Qinshui had made it clear that she didn't want to see Su Qinghui. Since that was the case, why should he force her? He looked at the chessboard. You've won this round. You don't have to play the rest. He won. He had clearly lost, and he had lost completely. Su Qinghui stood up and went downstairs like a ghost. When he went downstairs, Li Qinshui was in the living room, asking people to clean up the mess. She was sitting next to Su Qingsang, talking about something. Su Qingsang saw him coming downstairs and quickly stood up. This time, Su Qinghui ignored her and walked straight to Li Qinshui. Can I talk to you for a minute? No. Li Qinshui sat there without moving. I have nothing to say to you. Qinshui. Su Qinghui gritted his teeth so hard that his gums almost bled. Just 5 minutes. Can't I? No. Li Qinshui looked up at him, her eyes cold. I don't want to give you a minute. His heart felt like it had been pierced by another arrow. Su Qinghui's voice was pleading. Qinshui, sister. Su Yusin had just come back from sending a guest. She didn't know how long he had been in the room, but he looked at Su Qingsang. You just came back yesterday. I forgot to give you a present. Come upstairs with me to get it. Su Qingsang glanced at him. Even if he didn't call her, she was going to leave. Mom, take a seat first. I'll go upstairs to get the gift. Su Qingsang followed Su Yusin upstairs. Before leaving, Su Yusin glanced at Uncle Zhang and motioned for him to ask the servants in the living room to leave first. Uncle Zhang was also very perceptive. With a wave of his hand, the rest of the people left. Li Qinshui sat there, feeling a little stifled. She looked at Su Qinghui and said, Su Qinghui, are you very proud now? He had been away from home for so long, yet there were still people who stood by him? Qinshui, I feel very uncomfortable right now. Su Qinghui couldn't be smug in front of her at all. Really, I feel very uncomfortable. The assets you get after our divorce should be enough for you to find a good hospital, right? Li Qinshui's words were rather blunt. Or, have you already spent all your money in just 2 months? It's okay, I can still afford it. Go ahead. How much do you want? She was treating Su Qinghui like a beggar. Su Qinghui clenched his fists, and his voice was low and hoarse with bitterness. Qinshui, I'm not here to ask you for money. Then what do you want? Li Qinshui turned her face to look at him with an impatient expression. Don't say that you regret it. After you left me, you suddenly realized that you fell in love with me. So you want to get back together with me? Su Qinghui was rendered speechless by her words and couldn't continue. What could he say? Could he say that he wanted to get back together with her? What he could say was that he only realized after losing her that he fell in love with her, couldn't live without her, and wanted to start over with her. Qinxue, don't be like this. I do regret it. Qinxue, I'm sincere to you. Su Qinghui. Li Qinxue stood up and stared straight at his face. Her gaze was cold and filled with disdain. Can you be more shameless? Qinxue. In order to return to the Li family, you really can tell any lie? Li Qinxue didn't believe him at all. In her opinion, this was just one of Su Qinghui's tricks. Qinxue, I want to come back, but not to the Li family. I want to return to your side. Li Qinxue couldn't take it anymore. Return to my side? I'm representing the Li family now. Don't you know? Su Qinghui knew that she had a deep misunderstanding of him. That's enough. Li Qinxue stood up. Su Qinghui, if you still have any dignity, then get as far away as you can. Don't appear in front of me. As for what you said, I'm sorry, but I don't believe a word you said, or even a punctuation mark. So you don't have to say anything. Li Qinxue turned around and was about to leave. Su Qinghui was anxious and reached out to grab her hand. Qinxue, what I said is true. What I said is also true. Li Qinxue wanted to pull her hand out, but Su Qinghui was very strong. She was in a bad mood, and her face darkened. Su Qinghui, I'm warning you, don't be so shameless. For the sake of the children, I don't want to make things difficult for you. But don't force me to do things to the extreme. To be honest, she was actually disappointed at this point today. However, this disappointment was not for Su Qinghui, but for Su Peijian. Su Qinghui obviously had a purpose for coming here. She wouldn't think that his arrival was sincere for old Master Li's birthday. She was really disappointed in Su Peijian. She had raised her for more than 20 years, even if she wasn't her biological daughter. But for so many years, whether it was her or old Master Li, their care for her were sincere. However, on a day like today, Su Peijian didn't even call, let alone visit the old master. Su Peijian was indeed Su Qinghui's daughter. She inherited the cold side of his personality. No matter how good he was to her, it was useless. Li Qinxue didn't want to think of the daughter she had raised. She didn't want to admit it, but she couldn't control her emotions and think in that direction. Qinxue. Su Qinghui only realized today that as long as Li Qinxue said a casual word, she could hurt him. His status had changed, and his role had changed. He seemed to finally understand his thoughts at that time. Was this how she had felt when he had treated her so coldly all those years ago? Don't call me. Li Qinxue didn't want to be entangled with this person here. It was meaningless at all. I heard you call my name, and I felt disgusted. Su Qinghui was hit by another arrow. He almost couldn't stand. He staggered and took a step back. Qinxue, don't say that you really fell in love with me. If this is your love, then your love can only make me feel disgusted and disgusted. Li Qinxue looked at his pretense and didn't give him a minute. She turned around and left. Su Qinghui was left standing there, watching Li Qinshue's back disappear around the corner of the stairs. He felt that because of Li Qinshue's words, he had been hit by arrows again and again. He sat down and supported his head with his hands. He felt a swelling pain in his eyes, and something almost wanted to rush out of them, but he restrained himself. So Qinxue, do you hate me this much? Although he knew that this was what he deserved, and that it was his own fault, Su Qinghui still felt hurt. Su Qingsang waited for a long time. When she came down from upstairs, she was holding a small box in her hand. She wasn't surprised to see that Su Qinghui was left alone. She went forward and sat down next to Su Qinghui. Su Qinghui thought that Li Qinshuo had returned. When he raised his head, there was a faint expectation in his eyes. When he saw that the person who came was Su Qingsang, his eyes darkened again. This reaction was too obvious. Su Qingsang was really sure of Su Qinghui's feelings now. It turned out that he really fell in love with his mother after he divorced her. Or perhaps it wasn't like anymore. But love? Dad. Su Qingsang handed him the box in her hand. This is a gift I bought in Rong City. I originally wanted to give it to you in 2 days. Su Qinghui looked at the box, and then at the sincerity in Su Qingsang's eyes. He felt something hit his heart. There was a muffled dull pain. He remembered that every time his daughter went out, she would buy gifts for her family. It wasn't necessarily very expensive, but it was her heart. However, every time she gave something, it would be thrown away by him or Li Qianxue. Qingsang. Su Qinghui thought of how he had neglected and ignored Su Qingsang for so many years. But now, Su Qingsang had been helping him and even preparing gifts for him. Dad. Li Qianxue was angry, and her hatred hadn't dissipated. Therefore, she didn't notice how passionate Su Qinghui's eyes were, nor did she care that Su Qinghui's eyes were full of love when he looked at her. Qingsang. I'm sorry, I used to, Dad. Su Qingsang wasn't there to listen to Su Qinghui's apology. Besides, he had already said, "May I ask, are you really in love with Mom?" Su Qinghui was stunned for a moment. He looked at Su Qingsang with a bitter expression. You don't believe me either? He knew that he was wrong. He also knew that his past behavior was indeed a bad record. However, until today, no one was willing to believe his words, and no one was willing to stand on his side. This made Su Qinghui depressed. He was also annoyed, but more than that, he felt bitter. No, I believe you. In fact, Su Qingsang had guessed it a long time ago. If Su Qinghui really didn't love Li Qianxue, he would have divorced Xiang Kaiping after she appeared. After all, if he really loved Xiang Kaiping as much as he said, he would have been with her a long time ago. Secondly, if he really loved Xiang Kaiping that much, why would he be threatened by Li Qianxue to marry her? Qingsang. I believe you. Su Qingsang thought of Li Qianxue's expression just now. She reached out and put her hand on Su Qinghui's arm. Dad, I believe that you really love Mom. Su Qinghui was a little emotional. He didn't expect that the person who would believe him now was the daughter he had never cared about. Chapter 517. Su Qinghui was only in his 40s. Seriously speaking, he was still very young. He still had many possibilities. Plans? What plans? Su Qinghui looked bitter. I haven't thought about it yet. However, I have 2 friends who have been asking me to start a company with them. I think I might go with them. I'm not asking you about business. I'm not asking you what you're going to do in the future. I'm asking you since you know that you love my mother. What plans do you have for the future? What plans can I have? Su Qinghui looked helpless. Your mother hates me so much now. I can only stay away from her. As soon as Su Qinghui finished speaking, he saw the disapproval in his daughter's eyes. Dad. Su Qingsang really felt strange. How did Su Qinghui, who had such a low EQ, become the general manager of Li Group for so many years? Don't tell me you're really willing to never see me again? What else can I do? Your mother hates me so much now. Didn't you hate her too? You even swapped me with Su Peijian because you hated her. After saying that, Su Qingsang realized that her attitude was not right. She cleared her throat. Dad, I don't blame you. I mean, if my mother wanted to, she could have spent more than 20 years softening you up and making you fall in love with her. Why can't you spend the rest of your life begging for my mother's forgiveness? Su Qinghui looked at Su Qingsang in a daze, almost unable to understand what she meant. Was she trying to give him an idea? Dad, think about it. You're only in your 40s this year. If you live to be 100 years old, you still have more than 50 years left. Are you really willing to have my mother disappear from your life? Are you really willing to be a stranger to my mother and never see each other again? Su Qingsang's eyes were clear and full of sincerity. Su Qinghui was almost bewitched by her words. You mean, if you think that my mother's reaction today made you feel bad, you should give up? Then is your love for my mother real? Why is it that my mother can spend decades being ignored by you, but she still thinks of you and loves you wholeheartedly? Since my mother can spend such a long time to move you, then why don't you do it? You can take that long to move her. Even if my mom really didn't want to forgive you in the end, at least you tried. Su Qingsang really thought so. Don't you think that even if you fail in the end, you still have a chance? But at least you've tried, right? At least you won't regret it. Not to mention, you're just doing what my mother did before. Humans are not plants, they are not emotionless. During this time, Su Qingsang had gotten to know Li Qianxue better. She believed that as long as Su Qinghui showed his sincerity to Li Qianxue, he would be happy. Li Qianxue would always be touched by him. Even if he couldn't, he should at least give himself a chance, right? Hearing Su Qingsang's words, Su Qinghui's expression suddenly became eager. But after the fervor, it turned into bitterness. What's the point? Your mother doesn't even want to see me now. She doesn't want to see you. You have to create opportunities for her to see you. As for why she's so resistant to you, didn't you also resist my mother for decades? Su Qinghui didn't say anything. For the first time, he looked at Su Qingsang with a new and completely different gaze. She was his daughter. He had neglected her for many years, and had almost never given her a trace of love. But it was this daughter who was still willing to give him ideas and think for him in his current situation. Waves of warmth surged in his heart, and emotions of gratitude surged in his heart. There was also a faint sense of guilt and self-blame. Su Qingsang's words stopped there, and she didn't want to say more. If Su Qinghui wanted to, he naturally knew how to get Li Qianxue back. If his love was just lip service, then it didn't matter whether he worked hard or not. After all, Li Qianxue was still young. If she left Su Qinghui, a man who didn't really love her, she still had a chance to find another man. It was also a good ending for both of them to be happy. Qingsang. Thank you. Su Qinghui thanked Su Qingsang sincerely. By now, he could no longer simply treat Su Qingsang as a child. She was not only a daughter who had been neglected by him, but also an adult who had grown up, matured, and had her own independent thinking and opinions. Dad. Su Qingsang smiled. You're my dad. You don't need to thank me. She said that she didn't need to thank him, but Su Qinghui was really grateful to this daughter. She didn't resent him for being changed. Instead, she could even care about him. He looked at Su Qingsang and thought of his other daughter, Su Peixian. He had doted on Su Peixian for so many years, but what did Su Peixian do? Until now, she hadn't even called him or sent him any news. From the looks of it, it seemed that she didn't want him her father. In comparison, he was not as good as Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang said these words today. Although it couldn't be said to be enlightened, it really gave him some confidence. Su Qinghui didn't say that he didn't know what he should do. He knew, but at this time, Su Qingsang's words were undoubtedly the greatest encouragement to him. I didn't do anything. Su Qingsang smiled. She knew that Su Qinghui had already made up his mind. He just needed someone to help him again. Su Qinghui looked at the smile on Su Qingsang's face, and suddenly reached out to hug her. This time, it was Su Qingsang's turn to be stunned. Su Qinghui had never hugged her since she was a child. Su Qinghui's eyes were slightly warm. This was his daughter. He quickly let go of his hand. He felt a little uncomfortable seeing Su Qingsang's shocked expression. Qingsang, I know that when you married Hu Jiniao it was also an accident. Although my current ability can't be compared to Tianyu Group, if one day he makes you feel wronged, you must tell me. I will definitely teach that brat a good lesson. Dad. Su Qingsang now knew why Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue were together. With such a domineering and protective manner, was this really the only one in the family, and no other branch? Don't worry. Hu Jiniao is quite good. Su Qinghui didn't say anything. He could more or less tell whether Hu Jiniao was good or not. At this moment he was a little envious. Hu Jiniao was much better than him in this regard. From the beginning, he had a clear goal and knew what he wanted. On the other hand, he had been muddle-headed for so many years before he came to his senses. In comparison, he was really too inferior to Hu Jiniao. Chapter 518. Su Qinghui thought it through and left. Su Qingsang looked at his back and didn't know if what she did was right or wrong. After all, that man was her father. She couldn't bear to hurt him. More importantly, if he really loved Li Qianxue, why didn't he give himself and Li Qianxue a chance? However, thinking of Li Qianxue, she hesitated. If Li Qianxue couldn't forgive Su Qinghui in the end, she would probably blame her. Don't worry. Mom won't blame you. No one knew when Su Yusin had arrived. He sat down next to Su Qingsang. Did you hear that? Yes. Su Yusin nodded. Although he was young, he wasn't really a child. Sister, don't worry. Even if Mom is really unhappy, she won't be mad at you. I can't do anything if she's really angry. Su Qingsang couldn't bear to hurt Su Qinghui. Not only her, but Su Yusin also hoped that the family could be as good as before. She just didn't know what Li Qianxue would do. Wrong city. Hua Jinyao had just gotten off the phone with Su Qingsang. But he wasn't as calm as he appeared to be in front of her. He looked at Yang Wenchang with a sullen face. What do you mean by Qiao Hong is missing? I asked someone to keep an eye on the Qiao family, but Qiao Hong hasn't gone out these days. Later, I asked someone to knock on the door under the pretext of collecting property fees, but he wasn't home. I checked the surveillance footage and found that he left last night in disguise. Yang Wenchang blamed himself for not doing a good job. He didn't expect that there would be a time when he would make a mistake. Hua Jinyao waved his hand. There were indeed a lot of things to do in the company. Working with Ikes was one thing, but the Hua brothers kept playing dirty tricks, and making trouble for him from time to time was another. What was more serious was that the data of the new product developed by Hua Jinyao's company for the next quarter was stolen by Qiao Hong, one of Hua Jinyao's subordinates. That was the reason why Hua Jinyao didn't have time to go to Lin City with Su Qingsang. He went back to the company and asked someone to keep an eye on Qiao Hong. They didn't call the police for the time being, because the launch of Tianyu Group's new product had reached a critical moment. They couldn't afford to make any mistakes. If Qiao Hong only wanted to use this to threaten him, he would have let it go. If Qiao Hong sold this to a rival company, thinking of this, Hua Jinyao's face darkened. President Hua, should we call the police? No. If this had nothing to do with the rival company, Tianyu would only make the situation more complicated. Sort out all of Qiao Hong's information and send it to my email. I'll send someone to find him. Yang Wenchang nodded and quickly left. Hua Jinyao took out his phone and started to make a call. Someone knocked on the door. Hua Jinyao thought it was Yang Wenchang, but it was Ding Qing. President Hua. She walked quickly to Hua Jinyao with the document in her hand. I've looked into it and asked the people who work with Qiao Hong. Qiao Hong's neighbor heard that Qiao Hong had a girlfriend. The two of them had planned to get married. But something happened recently. What happened? Hua Jinyao was impressed by Ding Qing's efficiency, which was very rare. Ding Qing was the first one to find out that Qiao Hong had gone missing with the company's confidential information. Although she came to the project later, Zhang Yang had been involved in it. Therefore, Ding Qing knew something about the project after she arrived. Qiao Hong's girlfriend has uremia. He needs a kidney transplant. It's too expensive for him to afford. So it must be a mistake. Hua Jinyao frowned. He didn't agree with Ding Qing's statement. Tianyu Group had great benefits. If Qiao Hong was in trouble, he could have explained the situation to the finance department instead of stepping on the company's bottom line. However, Hua Jinyao was relieved. As long as it wasn't a rival company, or Hua Yifan and Hua Jinyao, it would be fine. I found the hospital where his girlfriend is staying. Ding Qing put the document on Hua Jinyao's desk. President Hua, do you want me to go there? Find Qiao Hong? I'll go myself. Hua Jinyao looked at the name of the hospital. What a coincidence. It was the first hospital where Su Qingsang worked. If Qiao Hong wants to exchange this for money, he'll know that we're looking for him. President Hua, I'm afraid that he won't tell the truth when he sees you. Ding Qing analyzed her opinion. Look, you're the boss, and he's your employee. If he does something like this, he'll be on the opposite side of you. So I think it's better for me to go. Ding Qing's words made sense. Hua Jinyao didn't realize it until now. Ding Qing was new to the company. Everyone in Tianyu knew that Yang Wenchang worked for Hua Jinyao. Okay. You go there. It'll be great if you can find him. If you can't, it's okay. Yes. Ding Qing lowered her eyes. At this moment, she looked extremely serious. Don't worry, President Hua. I'll find a way to persuade him to come back. Just try your best. Hua Jinyao knew that Ding Qing hadn't used her full ability yet. With such a subordinate, he wanted to know what Ding Qing was capable of. Ding Qing took the order and left. Not long after lunch, Ding Qing came back. Qiao Hong isn't here. I asked his girlfriend. His girlfriend doesn't know anything about him. She's sick, so I couldn't tell her everything. Ding Qing paused for a second. When she looked at Hua Jinyao and Yang Wenchang, she continued. But I used his girlfriend's phone as an excuse. Qiao Hong picked up. Both Hua Jinyao and Yang Wenchang looked at her, waiting for her next words. He promised me that he'd come out to see me tonight. Hua Jingyao and Yang Wenchang looked at each other, then at Ding Qing together. What time is it? Where is it? Blue night. Hua Jinyao's face darkened. He looked at Ding Qing together with Yang Wenchang. President Hua, you see. Ding Qing was still asking. Hua Jinyao knew that he couldn't let Ding Qing go there alone. Blue Night was a very famous nightclub in Rong City. It was the biggest money-squandering establishment in Rong City. Only members were allowed in there. People who weren't members couldn't get in. I'll go with you tonight. Hua Jinyao wanted to solve this problem before it got out of hand. Not only did he need to solve Qiao Hong's problem as soon as possible, but he also couldn't let the board of directors know. He especially couldn't let the Hua brothers know. After all, they had been up to too many tricks recently. Hua Jinyao didn't want the Hua brothers to have something on them. That night, before the appointed time, Hua Jinyao followed Ding Qing and Yang Wenchang to the entrance of Blue Night. Chapter 519. It's okay. The owner of Blue Night was the same as the owner of the Hot Spring Club. Thinking of what Su Qingseng had told him, Hua Jinyao decided to go there himself. That man had a powerful background. If anything happened, he wouldn't be able to do anything to him. But if it was Yang Wenchang, things would be different. Find a place to park the car and wait for my call. I'll go in with Ding Hong. Hua Jinyao and Ding Qing got out of the car and walked to the gate of Blue Night together. Ding Qing seemed a little worried. She even hesitated. Hua Jinyao glanced at her and said, "It's okay. Just act normal." Ding Qing nodded. She looked at the magnificent signboard, then at Hua Jinyao and said, "President Hua, won't we be easily recognized if we go in like this?" Hua Jinyao stopped and glanced at Ding Qing. Because of what happened tonight, she wasn't wearing the professional suit she wore during the day. Instead, she was wearing a simple black dress and a beige windbreaker. He thought for a while, then said in a lower voice, "Come with me." Okay. Ding Qing was about 3 steps away from Hua Jinyao. Because of what he said, she quickened her pace and walked to his side. They walked a few steps side by side. There seemed to be a small stone on the road. Ding Qing suddenly twisted her foot. She lost her balance and fell towards Hua Jinyao. He had to reach out his hand to steady her. Ding Qing's face was pale. She looked around and found that no one was looking at them. She said in a low voice, "I'm sorry, President Hua. I was too careless." "It's okay." Hua Jinyao thought that Ding Qing did that because she was nervous. Besides, he also saw the stone on the road. "Can you stand still?" "I can." Ding Qing stood up, but her foot hurt a little. She sucked in a cold breath. She looked at Hua Jinyao. "President Hua, I think I sprained my foot." They were only a few steps away from the gate of Blue Night. Seeing that, Hua Jinyao reached out his arm and said, "Can you help me walk?" This, Ding Qing hesitated. "I don't think it's a good idea. It won't be good if people misunderstand." "It's okay." Hua Jinyao was focused on the meeting with Qiao Hong. "It's just a show. Let's go." Ding Qing clenched her teeth, but at last, she took Hua Jinyao's arm. With Hua Jinyao's help, she didn't look abnormal when she walked. "Thank you, President Hua," Ding Qing said in a low voice. Hua Jinyao didn't take it to heart. After seeing Qiao Hong, "I'll take you to the doctor." "Thank you, President Hua. I'll go home and apply some ointment." Hua Jinyao didn't insist. The two of them entered the door together. What Hua Jinyao didn't notice was that a camera had captured the scene of the two of them walking into the Blue Night hand in hand. Lin City. Old Master Li's birthday was spent with the group of relatives at noon. In the evening, only his family would have dinner together. This year it was quieter than in previous years. In the past, there was Su Qinghui and Su Peijian. Today, the two of them were gone, but Su Qingseng was there. Her cooking skills were average, and she wasn't particularly good at it. However, ever since she married Hua Jinyao, she had put some effort into it. So today, she took the initiative to cook a bowl of noodles for the old man. "Grandpa, happy birthday to you." Hua Jinyao had already prepared Old Master Li's birthday present. It was a pine tree. It wasn't an ordinary pine tree. It was carved from a whole piece of jade. The gift was delivered in the morning. The jade was of high quality, and it was made by a master. The green color of the jade made the pine tree look especially tall and straight. It implied that Old Master Li would live as long as the Nanshan Mountain. It was obvious that the gift had been found with great effort. It was a good gift. Old Master Li liked it very much. However, no matter how good the gift was, it was a gift from Hu Jinniao. Su Qingseng didn't know what else to give. After thinking for a while, she decided that cooking a bowl of noodles for Old Master Li was more appropriate. Good. Old Master Li looked at the noodles that his granddaughter brought out, and said the word good 3 times in a row. Old Master Li didn't lack anything at the moment. For him, the most important thing was the thought. Many years ago, Li Qianxue had cooked for him to please Su Qinghui. It was the first time that he had eaten food cooked by a junior, even if it was just a simple bowl of noodles. Grandpa, I'm not good at cooking. Please don't blame me. Su Qingsang's face was a little bitter. She wasn't particularly confident in her cooking. It looks delicious. Old Master Li was quite generous. Looking at the bowl of noodles, his eyes were full of admiration. This cooking can't be wrong. You try it first. After Su Qingsang said that, she looked at Li Qianxue and said, Mom, there's more in the kitchen. Do you want to try it too? Okay. Li Qianxue's eyes were a little red. Su Peijian didn't do any chores, and Su Yusin would never enter the kitchen. Now that the whole family was eating noodles cooked by Su Qingsang, they were all surprised and a little touched. Especially Li Qianxue. She had really done everything to please Su Qinghui. She tried to learn cooking and cook for Su Qinghui. However, the final result was not satisfactory. The soup was either salty or not good enough. When the vegetables were stir-fried, they were either raw or burnt. She couldn't control the degree, but she didn't give up and always wanted to try again. In the end, she found that no matter how she tried, Su Qinghui wouldn't love her because of it, so she gave up. It's delicious. Su Yusin was the first to speak. It was obviously a very ordinary noodles, but he tasted like a feast. Really? Su Qingsang looked at him, her eyes full of disbelief. Why don't I believe it? You're not happy that I praised you. It's delicious. Li Qianxue and Old Master Li were also full of praise. Su Qingsang knew very well that it wasn't that the noodles she cooked were really delicious. It was just that Grandpa and the others gave her face. The family had a joyful and harmonious meal. That day, Su Qingsang felt that time passed very quickly, but more than that, she was happy. She really wanted to share her feelings with Hu Jinniao at this time. So she went upstairs without even taking a shower. Instead, she called Hu Jinniao first. However, no one picked up Hu Jinniao's call. Su Qingsang didn't think too much about it. She dialed again, but still no one picked up. Looking at the time, it was already past 9 o'clock in the evening. In the past, Hu Jinniao should have been home at this time. Su Qingsang's first reaction was that the matter with Hu Jinniao's company should be very tricky. At least he couldn't handle it in a short time. Su Qingsang wasn't unhappy. She was just a little worried and a little distressed. After sending a message to Hu Jinniao, telling him to take care of himself no matter how late he was, she put the phone aside. Since Su Qingsang had returned to Lin City, she naturally had to find Shi Mengwan. Early in the morning, she sent a message to Shi Mengwan asking where she was. Knowing that she was back, Shi Mengwan couldn't be more happy. The two of them agreed on a time and place to meet. Su Qingsang hung up the phone, lay on the bed, and casually browsed through the local news and WeChat public accounts. After Su Qingsang went to Rong City, she followed a few local WeChat public accounts in Rong City. The local news she was reading now was naturally the local news of Rong City. They were all ordinary things. After casually browsing through a few, Su Qingsang planned to close it. However, at this time, Rong City Online, which she followed, released today's news. The news was about a certain clubhouse. It said that a few rich second-generation rich kids in Rong City had a conflict with someone in a nightclub, then smashed the nightclub's venue, and almost caused a riot. Su Qingsang wasn't interested in this kind of news. These second-generation rich kids were just a little rich, but compared to real aristocratic families, they were far from being rich. She had also attended a few of Hu Jinniao's gatherings with his childhood friends, but none of his friends were like this. Just as she was about to close the news, her eyes fell on the accompanying photo of the news. There were two people in the photo, both of whom Su Qingsang knew. One was the woman she had spoken to the other day, and the other was Hu Jiniao. Su Qingsang looked at the photo for a moment, and her mind went blank for a moment. She thought she had seen it wrong. However, no matter how she looked at it, that person was Hu Jiniao. The other woman was the one she had met at the company. Su Qingsang read the news again. Because the news about the other two rich kids was relatively big, mobile phones were now popular. She only browsed through the news, and not only did she find the photos of the two rich kids fighting, but she also found the video of the fight on the local portal. In the video, Su Qingsang didn't pay attention to the scene of a group of people fighting. She only stared at Hu Jiniao and the woman sitting not far away. From the video, it could be seen that the woman had been sitting close to Hu Jiniao. Hu Jiniao didn't push her away. Not only did he not push her away, but he also reached out to help her when the woman was about to get up. Then, the woman left for a while and came back. When she came back, she threw herself into Hu Jiniao's arms. The video ended here. Su Qingsang watched the video again, and her expression was a little ugly. Of course, she was willing to believe Hu Jiniao, and she also believed that he must have a reason to go to that kind of place with that woman. But she thought of Hu Jiniao's hand on that woman's body, and the way that woman threw herself at Hu Jiniao. Su Qingsang suddenly became angry. Even if she had misunderstood, couldn't Hu Jiniao stay away from that woman? She was angry, so she took out her phone and called Hu Jiniao without thinking. Hu Jiniao didn't answer the first time, and only answered the second time. Qingsang. Hu Jiniao's voice sounded a little hoarse, as if he hadn't slept well. Su Qingsang could hear it, and her heart ached a little. Her determination to find Hu Jiniao and ask him didn't decrease at all, but her expression became a lot calmer. Chapter 520. No. Hu Jiniao didn't expect Xiaohong to lie to him. He did not appear at Blue Night at all yesterday. They called Xiaohong, but he didn't pick up. Later, Ding Qing used her phone to call Xiaohong. Xiaohong didn't answer, but sent her a message. He said that he didn't want to go to jail, and that he saw the police when he was coming. It turned out that the fight between the playboys had attracted someone to report to the police. Xiaohong thought that Hu Jiniao had sent the police to arrest him, so he didn't show up. Hu Jiniao didn't expect such a misunderstanding. He gestured for Ding Qing to comfort Xiaohong. Ding Qing kept assuring him that those policemen weren't coming for Xiaohong, so that he could calm down. In the end, Xiaohong agreed to give Hu Jiniao and the others another chance, but he couldn't tell Ding Qing the exact location until tonight. Because of this, the three of them had wasted their time yesterday. Ding Qing was especially angry. She kept accusing Xiaohong of breaking his promise. She seemed to be more nervous than the boss. Is the problem very difficult? If Hu Jiniao was like this, the problem must be very tricky. Su Qingsang's tone carried a hint of worry. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. That's good. Su Qingsang couldn't help but ask. Jiniao, it was Saturday yesterday. Did you go to see Grandpa? Yes. Grandpa also asked me to tell you to send his regards. Oh. Su Qingsang believed him. So you didn't go out at night? You live in the old mansion? Just as Hu Jiniao was about to answer, the computer in front of him alerted him that a new email had arrived. He opened the mailbox and casually replied, Yes, I live in the old house. In fact, when Hu Jiniao stayed in the company yesterday, he had been discussing with Yang Wenchang and the others what they should do if Xiaohong insisted on selling the confidential information to a rival company. Hu Jiniao always planned for the worst. He hoped that things would develop in a good direction. However, if the other party didn't keep their promise, he could arrest Xiaohong or sue the other party's company. However, all of these things would bring negative consequences to Tianyu Group. Either way, Hu Jiniao needed to think of a way to deal with it. The most ideal outcome would be to find Xiaohong and retrieve the secret. Minimize the loss. In the worst-case scenario, Xiaohong would betray his company. At that time, Both sides would perish together. Xiao Hong and his rival company wouldn't have a good ending, but Tianyu would still suffer heavy losses. Su Qingsang clenched her fists. She blinked and suddenly realized that Hu Jinyao was lying. He was lying to himself. Are you in the company now? Have you had breakfast? I ate it. Hu Jinyao read the contents of the email. His eyebrows were knitted together so tightly that a mosquito could be squeezed between his eyebrows. Jinyao. Su Qingsang told herself not to be paranoid and to trust him. Did you really stay at the old house last night? Yeah. Hu Jinyao moved the mouse and scrolled down. Su Qingsang pursed her lips and added, I haven't been home for 2 weeks. Did your mother say anything? What can she say? Hu Jinyao stared at the photos in the email. No matter what she says, I'll just ignore it. That's true. Su Qingsang didn't ask anymore. She could tell that Hu Jinyao's attitude was perfunctory. Then you go back to your work. I'll go shopping with Mengwan later. Okay. Hu Jinyao was about to hang up. He thought for a moment and added, if you want to stay in Lin City for a few more days with your mother, ask for leave. I can talk to the hospital for you. Of course, he knew that Su Qingsang and Li Qianxue hadn't known each other for a long time. He also wanted to spend more time with the Li family. However, Su Qingsang thought of something else. Okay, I got it. Su Qingsang didn't want to think about Hu Jinyao like that, but she couldn't help it. He was thinking that it would be more convenient for him to do something when she wasn't at home. Was that so? After hanging up, Su Qingsang thought about it. She was willing to believe Hu Jinyao, but she still couldn't help but call the old house of the Hu family. Coincidentally, the person who answered the phone was Old Master Hua. Grandpa. Qingsang? Old Master Hua recognized Su Qingsang's voice almost immediately. He was very happy to receive a call from his granddaughter-in-law. He didn't notice Zhang Yichen, who came to visit this morning, because his ears moved slightly when he heard the 2 words. However, that was all. In the end, he picked up the tea in front of him and sipped it gently. His expression didn't change at all. Well, Grandpa, I just wanted to say hello to you. I can't come back to accompany you this weekend. It's okay. I heard from Jinyao. He said it's your grandpa's birthday. Remember to say hello to Yongfeng for me. Okay. I will. My grandpa misses you too. He asked me to say hello to you. He's too polite. He has a lot of things to do at home these days. When he's free, he asked him to come to Rong City to play. Okay. I'll tell Grandpa. After saying this, Su Qingsang said casually, Jinyao has been very busy recently. He always listens to you. You must talk to him and ask him not to live in the company. It's easy to catch a cold, and he can't sleep well. He sleeps in the company? Then I'll talk to him later. Speaking of which, I told him to pay more attention to his health when he came last time. There's no end to the company's business. Old Master Hua was also a smart person. What couldn't he see? In fact, he also knew that the Hu Yifan brothers had been doing a lot recently. However, they were all his grandchildren, so he didn't want to interfere too much. More importantly, he believed in Hu Jinyao's ability, and that he would handle it well. Yes, he's always busy with work, and doesn't come back to accompany Grandpa. He hasn't come back to see you for a few days, right? It's okay. I know he's busy. When he's done, he can come to see me again. Su Qingsang's heart slightly tightened. What else did she not understand? Hu Jinyao didn't go back to the old house yesterday. He was really lying, and he really lied to her. After talking with Old Master Hua for a while, she finally hung up the phone. Su Qingsang sat by the bed, and once again looked at the video of the fight. She didn't want to think badly of Hu Jinyao, but why would Hu Jinyao lie to her? Even if he told her directly that he went to a nightclub with that woman, she wouldn't be angry. She believed that he did everything for a reason. However, no matter how much she trusted him, she wouldn't like him lying to her. Some things couldn't be explained clearly over the phone. He could only ask when they met. No matter what, she was willing to give him a chance to explain. She was also willing to believe that Hu Jinyao was not a man who cheated in his marriage. She put her phone aside. It was almost time for the appointment with Shi Mengwan. She could only put it aside for now. Everything could wait until she returned to Rong City. Chapter 521. Ding Qing hung up the phone and looked at Hu Jinniao and Yang Wenchang. Xiao Hong said tonight at 9 o'clock. We'll meet at Charm of Night. Because of what happened before, Xiao Hong didn't trust Hu Jinniao anymore. Now, he was only willing to contact Ding Qing. Hu Jinniao furrowed his brows. Why did Xiao Hong always choose a nightclub or a nightclub? President Hua. Ding Qing looked at Hu Jinniao. She was eager to solve the problem. Why don't I go tonight? No need. I'll go with you. Hu Jinniao glanced at Ding Qing while speaking. Is your foot okay? Yesterday, Ding Qing's foot had been sprained by a small stone. Later, when they were fighting in Blue Night, she accidentally tripped on a piece of glass that was thrown on the ground. Although he reached out to hold her in time, her foot was still swollen. Ding Qing's injury was a work-related injury. As the boss, Hu Jinniao naturally had to care about his employee's injury. Thank you for your concern, President Hua. My foot is fine. Don't worry. I'm wearing a pair of flats today. I won't be a burden to you again. Ding Qing said with a guilty look on her face. What happened yesterday has nothing to do with you. It was an accident. Your foot is injured. You shouldn't go today. I'll go with Yang Wenchang. But I'm the one who contacted Xiao Hong. Ding Qing tried her best to persuade him. President Hua, I'm the one who contacted Xiao Hong. And I'm the one who agreed to meet him. If he finds out that I'm not there, he might think that we lied to him again. That'll be really troublesome. President Hua, Secretary Ding has a point. Yang Wenchang believed that it was impossible to stop Ding Qing from getting involved. Besides, Ding Qing is a woman. It'll be easier for Xiao Hong to let his guard down. Yeah, I'll go in first, and I'll text you when I see Xiao Hong. Ding Qing's suggestion was good. Hu Jinniao thought for a while then agreed. Alright, you can go with us. But you don't have to rush to ask Xiao Hong for the thing. Comfort him first. Let him calm down. I know what I'm doing, President Hua. As long as Xiao Hong shows up, I'm confident that he'll let down his guard and be willing to talk to us. Alright, it was the weekend, and there was no one else in the office. After the three of them discussed what to do, they each went to make their own arrangements. Hu Jinniao thought about the series of things that had happened recently, and felt as if he had overlooked something important. Charm of the Night was also a nightclub, but it wasn't as big as Blue Night. Charm of Night's location was also a bit more remote than Blue Night's. Hu Jinniao knew that Xiao Hong didn't want to run into the police again. Just like the day before, Ding Qing was responsible for contacting Xiao Hong. Then she walked into Charm of Night. Hu Jinniao followed Ding Qing. Because Ding Qing's foot was injured, Hu Jinniao helped her up the stairs again. Thank you, President Hua, Ding Qing said in a low voice. But you don't have to help me. I'm afraid that if Xiao Hong sees it, he might think that our relationship is different. You think too much. Hu Jinniao didn't even blink or look at Ding Qing. Xiao Hong knows that I'm married. I won't think in that direction. That's good. Ding Qing seemed to be relieved. Hu Jinniao finally glanced at her and said, What? Are you afraid that Xiao Hong might misunderstand you? I'm not afraid that Xiao Hong might misunderstand me. I'm afraid that others might misunderstand me. Ding Qing's voice was very low. I just met a nice guy, and I'm planning to date him. I don't want him to misunderstand me before we even start dating. Hu Jinniao nodded. He relaxed a little because of Ding Qing's words. Yeah, it's okay. If he really misunderstands you, I can explain for you. Thank you in advance, President Hua. Ding Qing's voice sounded cheerful, which made the tense moment a lot more relaxed. The benefits of Tianyu Group were quite good. Not only were the benefits good, but Hu Jinniao wasn't a person who would mistreat his employees. Zhang Yang, who had been working for him, was excellent at his job. This time his wife was having a baby, and he wanted to take a vacation. Hu Jinniao immediately agreed. As for Ding Qing, Hu Jinniao approved of her hard work in the past 2 days. She was a good subordinate, and that was all. The two of them entered Charm of Night together. In order to avoid a repeat of the previous incident, the two of them chose a corner and sat down. Hu Jinniao sat down and looked around. This place was noisier than Blue Night, and there were more people here. If Xiao Hong showed up in a place like this, it would be easier for him to get away. The strange feeling in his heart came again, but he couldn't figure out what was wrong at the moment. President Hua, do you think Xiao Hong will come today? Hearing Ding Qing's words, Hua Jinyao glanced at her and shook his head. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that he will come. Today was Sunday, and tomorrow was Monday. He had to report to the managers about the progress of the project. Recently, Hua Yifan had been doing a lot of things. If Hua Jinyao didn't want Hua Yifan to be more arrogant, he couldn't make any more mistakes. Ding Qing stopped talking. She seemed to be nervous as well. She took out her phone and was about to call Xiao Hong again, but Hua Jinyao stopped her. You don't have to call him anymore. Hua Jinyao's expression was a little cold. If he doesn't come, you won't be able to do anything. If he comes, if you keep calling him, he will think that we need to beg him. No matter how bad the situation was, Hua Jinyao didn't want to lose the initiative. He was lucky today. Xiao Hong finally showed up. After he walked in, he walked around for a long time, then walked to where Hua Jinyao and Ding Qing were sitting. Hua Jinyao was sitting inside, while Ding Qing was sitting outside. That was why Xiao Hong didn't see Hua Jinyao at first. When he saw Hua Jinyao, he wanted to leave, but he found that Yang Wenchang had come in and was following him. Yang Wenchang blocked his way, so Xiao Hong couldn't leave. He had no choice but to sit down in front of them. This is not a good place to talk. I've booked a private room upstairs. Let's talk there, said Yang Wenchang. Hua Jinyao nodded. Xiao Hong knew that he couldn't leave now, so he followed them upstairs. After entering the room, Xiao Hong glared at Ding Qing. Miss Ding, you broke your promise. Xiao Hong, I don't think I ever said that I came here alone. Although Ding Qing said that, she felt a little guilty. Xiao Hong didn't say anything. He stood there looking very upset. Xiao Hong, you know that, right? What you're doing now is against the law. This project of Tianyu Group was very important. Hua Jinyao was in charge of it from the beginning to the end. He was the only one who knew how much he valued this project. All the employees who worked on this project had to sign confidentiality agreements. What Xiao Hong did today was against the law. Hua Jinyao knew that, and so did Xiao Hong. As expected, when Xiao Hong heard Hua Jinyao's words, he immediately weakened. His voice trembled a little. President Hua, I know I'm wrong, but I had no choice. Where is it? Hua Jinyao didn't want to hear Xiao Hong talk about his so-called difficulties. Many people in this world lived hard lives, but not everyone would choose to take the unorthodox path. I didn't bring it with me. Xiao Hong was obviously a little guilty when he said that. Why would I bring such an important thing with me? Hua Jinyao curled up the corner of his mouth and stared at Xiao Hong coldly. His voice was very low. Your condition? I want money. Xiao Hong was shocked by Hua Jinyao's imposing manner. His voice even softened. How much? 1 million. Xiao Hong wasn't greedy. His girlfriend needed hundreds of thousands of yuan to get a kidney transplant, and he had to wait for the source of the kidney. In the meantime, he had to receive all kinds of treatments. In fact, 1 million yuan might not be enough to solve his problem. 2 million. Hua Jinyao was quite generous. I can transfer the money to you right now, but you have to take us to get the thing first. Xiao Hong rubbed his hands and looked at Hua Jinyao. I have another condition. What? I want to go back to work in Tianyu Group. Impossible. Hua Jinyao's expression was cold, leaving no room for negotiation. You should have read the company's employee rules. I will never let you go back to work in the company. Thinking of the good benefits of Tianyu Group, Xiao Hong hesitated for a moment. I just want to go back to work. I said it's impossible. Hua Jinyao released his aura. He just sat there, but he gave people the feeling that he was a cheetah staring at its prey. Xiao Hong, you don't need me to remind you of the consequences of what you did, do you? If I call the police now and send you to the police station, your life will be over. Of course, Xiao Hong knew that. He felt the sweat on his back. You don't dare to do that. If you call the police, I will ask my friend to give the thing to Anshu and Company. Then you will suffer a great loss. Really? Hua Jingyao smiled. He took out his phone and pressed the number 101, but he didn't make the call. Instead, he looked at Xiao Hong with certainty. You can try. What will happen if I call the police now? Xiao Hong didn't speak, but Hua Jingyao took the phone and stood in front of Xiao Hong in 2 steps. Did you think that I didn't make any preparations before coming to find you? Hua Jingyao was 188 meters tall, much taller than Xiao Hong. He stood in front of him and released his aura. His eyes were sharp. Yes, you can give the thing to Anshuan, and I can guarantee that they will want it from you. But if you give it to me, I will call the police. You have signed a confidentiality agreement. You can't escape from jail. And Anshuan's people dare to buy the confidential documents of Tianyu Group. What do you think will happen to them? Chapter 522. Hua Jingyao put his phone away and said, Xiao Hong, you're a smart man. I admit that you've contributed a lot to this project. I'll give you 2 million today. Take the money and give me the stuff. As for going back to Tianyu, don't even think about it. After you get the money, you're not allowed to work in the same industry for 2 years. Why should I trust you? You have no choice but to trust me now. Hua Jingyao's voice was extremely cold. If I want to ban you now, believe it or not, you won't be able to find a job in the whole of China. Xiao Hong remained silent. He knew that Hua Jingyao was capable of doing that. He struggled to make his last request. I want a bank transfer, not a check. Okay. I'll transfer 1 million to you now. I'll give you the rest after you give me the stuff. Let's go now. Without further ado, Hua Jingyao made Xiao Hong agree to his conditions with a few words, half threatening and half tempting. Neither Yang Wenchang nor Ding Qing had a chance to say anything since he started talking. Yang Wenchang was fine. He had worked for Hua Jingyao for a long time, and he had seen Hua Jingyao's fierce side before. However, this was the first time that Ding Qing had seen Hua Jingyao like this. She sat next to Hua Jingyao and had a strange feeling in her heart. She no longer came to Tianyu for some purpose. She was simply Hua Jingyao's subordinate now. She saw a completely different side of her boss. She looked at Hua Jingyao deeply, and her heart was filled with emotions that even she couldn't suppress. She clearly knew that the emotional change could be called a heartbeat. When they returned to the company, it was already past midnight. They had followed Xiao Hong to the place he told them to take out the stuff. They didn't expect Xiao Hong to be so bold as to put the stuff in the safe box of a suite in a 4-star hotel. Hua Jingyao didn't search Xiao Hong's home, nor did he send people to the hotel to look for him. He probably didn't expect Xiao Hong to be so bold. However, he didn't register under his own name. Even if he sent people to search all the hotels in Rong City, they wouldn't know which hotel Xiao Hong was staying in. Now that the stuff was back, Hua Jingyao kept it safe again. He turned around and looked at his 2 subordinates. There was no need to mention Yang Wenchang. After following him for so many years, he was experienced in everything he did. He knew what he was thinking the most. Whatever it was, it had already been done before the order had been given. As for Ding Qing, although she hadn't been here for long, she had been doing well in the past few days. You've all worked hard today. Go back and rest early. Hua Jingyao rubbed the space between his eyebrows. He felt that things had been solved too easily. Xiao Hong's compromise was within his expectations. He had already blocked all of Xiao Hong's escape routes. 2 million was nothing to him. But to him, this matter had been solved too easily, and it felt surreal. Yang Wenchang stood there, not in a hurry to leave. Hua Jingyao glanced at him, then turned to look at Ding Qing. Secretary Ding, you can go back and rest first. All right. Ding Qing knew that Yang Wenchang had something to say, so she didn't linger. She lowered her head and quickly left. However, after she left, she did not leave immediately. Closing the door, she pressed her ear against the door. The soundproofing in Hua Jingyao's office was so good that she couldn't hear anything. In the end, she had no choice but to leave. In the office, Yang Wenchang sat across from Hua Jingyao. Neither of them had rested well for the past few days, and neither of them looked well. President Hua, I have a feeling that something is wrong with this matter. Tell me about it. Hua Jingyao had the same feeling, But he also wanted to hear Yang Wenchang's opinion. I just feel that it's too simple. Yang Wenchang didn't believe that Xiao Hong had gone through all this trouble just for 2 million. They both knew the value of this document. More importantly, if Xiao Hong had really sold it to a rival company, even if they went to court and sued the rival company, Tianyu Group would still suffer a great loss. Also, it's too easy to solve. Today, Xiao Hong had agreed to the terms without much struggle. On the surface, it seemed that he had done so under Hu Jinyao's pressure, but in fact, it felt weird. Hu Jinyao looked at Yang Wenchang. Yang Wenchang was indeed his most valued assistant. Go and find out who Xiao Hong has been in contact with before. Or apart from the 2 million I gave him, if there was any other unknown income in his bank account. It doesn't have to be the bank account. There are other accounts as well. Check them all. Yes. Yang Wenchang nodded and turned to leave. Hu Jinyao stopped him. You don't have to do it now. It's the same tomorrow. One more thing. Not only do we have to investigate him, but we also have to investigate his family. Xiao Hong wasn't stupid. He might not use his own account to do something like that. Yang Wenchang immediately understood what he meant. Hu Jinyao waved his hand. All right, go back to sleep. Don't come tomorrow morning. Have a good rest at home. Looking into Hu Jinyao's tired eyes, Yang Wenchang knew that he was the most tired one. President Hua, I don't need to rest tomorrow. You, on the other hand, have a tough battle to fight tomorrow. Don't worry. I know. Hu Jinyao sat up straight. His eyes were sharp. Those people want to see me make a fool of myself. I'll make a fool of myself first. Yang Wenchang lowered his eyes. Only then did he feel relieved. He quickly walked out. Hu Jinyao stayed in the office. He didn't rush home. He was still thinking about all the problems he had encountered during this period of time. Then he connected the dots one by one and found the key point. Su Qingseng walked out of the airport and tightened her coat. It was the end of spring, but the weather in Rong City was still a bit cold. Compared with the warm Lin City, it was much colder here. She didn't rush to the taxi lane. Hu Jinyao said that he would send someone to pick her up. Su Qingseng just had to wait here. She called Hu Jinyao before she got on the plane. Hu Jinyao asked her why she didn't stay in Lin City for a few more days. Not only him, but Shi Mengwan and the Li family also wanted her to stay for a few more days. She wanted to stay too, but the thought of Hu Jinyao going to a nightclub with another woman made her feel very uncomfortable. Plus, she had something to do at the hospital, so she refused their invitation to stay. She only said that she would fly back to Lin City to visit them when she had time. She took the earliest flight of the day back to Rong City. However, as soon as she pushed her luggage out of the ramp, she saw someone who shouldn't be there. Chapter 523. Su Qingseng's eyebrows twitched when she saw the woman. She immediately thought of what the two of them had done in the video. Su Qingseng stopped for a second and stood there without moving. His hand on the luggage handle tightened because of this. It was only for a few seconds, and she quickly relaxed her strength. Then, she smiled and watched the woman walk towards her. Su Qingseng looked at the woman from head to toe as she walked towards her. She was wearing a white Givenchy trench coat with a belt and a pair of Prada suede boots. Her hair was tied up, and there was a faint smile on her face. The lavender eyeshadow made her look even more charming and seductive. Su Qingseng had to admit that the woman in front of her was indeed exquisite. More importantly, she clearly knew the advantages of her appearance, and she made full use of it. She was different from Hu Jinyao, who always wore flat shoes because she had to perform surgeries. The woman's high heels made her look much taller than Hu Jinyao, which made her look even more imposing. Ding Qing walked towards Su Qingseng step by step. Her face was calm, and her smile was appropriate. Su Qingseng watched her approach her step by step. Her eyes darkened a little, but soon returned to normal. "Hello, Mrs. Hua." Ding Qing walked up to Su Qingseng and said, "I'm Ding Qing, President Hua's secretary. President Hua asked me to pick you up." In fact, Hu Jinyao had a meeting in the morning, and he had arranged for Yang Wenchang to pick him up. However, Ding Qing happened to overhear it. Yang Wenchang had found out what Hu Jiniao had asked him to look into yesterday, so Yang Wenchang was a little hesitant. Ding Qing offered to pick Su Qingseng up. I met Mrs. Hua when she came to the company. I know her. Don't worry. I will bring Mrs. Hua back safely. Okay. Hu Jiniao had witnessed Ding Qing's abilities recently, so he didn't think too much about it, and agreed to let her pick Hu Jiniao up. Now she stood in front of Su Qingseng, with a faint smile on her face. Her red lips were delicate, and she reached out her hand to Su Qingseng. Her hands were different from the paleness of her palms, which were caused by the disinfectant she had been using all the time in the lab, or on the operating table in the hospital. Her slender fingers were painted with crimson nail polish, and there were even beautiful flower patterns drawn on them. Su Qingseng glanced at the man's hand and met his eyes. He was still calm, as if the provocation in the eyes of the person who said those words to her last time was just an illusion. Hello, Mrs. Hua. She didn't reach out her hand for the first time, but Ding Qing was very polite. She reached out her hand a little bit more. I'm Ding Qing. President Hua asked me to pick you up. Su Qingseng looked at Ding Qing's hand, then finally took it. It was soft. She held it for a moment then let it go. Where is Hu Jiniao? President Hua has an important meeting, so he can't leave. While speaking, Ding Qing took a step forward and was about to pull Su Qingseng's luggage. Mr. Yang is very busy too. I'm the only one who has free time. So, I'm here to pick you up. She pulled Su Qingseng's luggage closer to her eyes and turned to look at her with a smile. Mrs. Hua, you don't mind, do you? Of course. Su Qingseng blinked and said, I have to thank you. You're welcome. This is my job. While speaking, Ding Qing pointed outside and said, Mrs. Hua, my car is parked over there. Let's go this way. Okay. Su Qingseng nodded. She didn't take her luggage from Ding Qing's hands, but walked quietly beside her. She didn't have much luggage, just one suitcase. Before she came here, Li Qianxue and Old Master Li had picked out a lot of nice things for her to bring back as gifts. So, Su Qingseng had 2 suitcases. Seeing that Ding Qing was pulling 2 suitcases on each side, Su Qingseng said something. Miss Ding, I'll take one. It's okay. We're almost at my car anyway. It's not far. Ding Qing was wearing a pair of high heels, but her steps were still steady. Su Qingseng glanced at her feet, then calmly withdrew her gaze. Everyone had their own strengths and characteristics. She wouldn't feel bad just because Ding Qing's makeup was better than hers, and she didn't look as smart and capable as Ding Qing. The two of them left the airport hall and walked to the underground parking lot. Ding Qing put her luggage in the trunk, then walked around to open the car door for Su Qingseng. Mrs. Hua, please. Su Qingseng slightly frowned, but soon smiled and turned to look at her. Thank you. Su Qingseng didn't pretend to be polite. She got in the car directly. She watched Ding Qing walk to the other side of the car, get in, and start the car. From the beginning until now, Ding Qing didn't seem to have any problems. However, Su Qingseng wouldn't forget the words that Ding Qing had said to her earlier. She wouldn't forget the way that Ding Qing threw herself at Hu Jiniao in the video. She didn't want to think badly of people, but she didn't think that people were good either. Especially Ding Qing. She had every reason to suspect that this woman had an ulterior motive. To put it more directly, she had an ulterior motive towards Hu Jiniao. She said that she was Hu Jiniao's secretary, so Hu Jiniao's secretary and Hu Jiniao met each other every day. A man and a woman, as well as a superior and a subordinate, spent at least 8 hours a day together. Su Qingseng blinked her eyes and stopped thinking. She didn't want to suspect Hu Jiniao. No matter how confused she was, she would wait until she saw Hu Jiniao and ask him herself. Su Qingseng had woken up early in the morning to catch a flight, so she was very sleepy. However, Ding Qing was driving, so she couldn't rest in the car. She was still thinking about the video and the scene where Ding Qing and Hu Jiniao hugged each other. She almost blurted out and questioned the woman, but she held back. Ding Qing didn't mind that she didn't speak. Mrs. Hua, I didn't have a chance to talk to you when you came to the company last time. In fact, when the girls in our company found out that Mr. Hua was married, Many female employees were heartbroken because of it. Ding Qing's eyes met Su Qingsang's in the rearview mirror. Ding Qing seemed to be complimenting Hua Jinniao, but Su Qingsang curved her lips. I don't think so. 1/3 of the female employees in Tianyu Group are heartbroken. Who's going to do the work then? Ding Qing laughed a little exaggeratedly. Mrs. Hua, you're so humorous. I'm not exactly humorous. I'm just telling the truth. Su Qingsang looked calm, but with a trace of certainty. I believe that the people in Hua Jinniao's company wouldn't be so unprofessional. Don't you think so, Miss Ding? Ding Qing wasn't stupid. Of course, she understood what she meant. For a moment, the smile on her face faded a little. She was a little embarrassed. However, the embarrassment only lasted for a moment. She looked straight ahead, as if she was driving seriously. However, she added something because of what she had said just now. Of course, the success of Tianyu Group is inseparable from the hard work of all the employees in the company. Su Qingsang nodded as if she agreed with Ding Qing. I think so too. So, I don't think that the female employees will be heartbroken because of Hua Jinniao's marriage. Or, do you think that everyone else is heartbroken because of Hua Jinniao's marriage? Mrs. Hua, you really like to joke. Ding Qing didn't expect that Su Qingsang would give her another soft rebuff. I'm not among the female employees who are heartbroken because of President Hua. After all, I have a boyfriend. As for why you know about the other female employees, Mrs. Hua, I can understand. As the company grows, there will always be more people who gossip. Yes, I believe you. Wherever there are people, there will be gossip. But I believe in Hua Jinniao's employees more than I do. If Hua Jinniao can't even handle such a small matter, and his employees lose their jobs because of his marriage, Hua Jinniao doesn't need to be the president anymore. Don't you think so? Ding Qing stopped talking. This was the first time she had a face-to-face confrontation with Su Qingsang. She had thought that Hua Jinniao was just a soft rabbit, but now she found out that she was a hedgehog. You're right, Mrs. Hua. President Hua is very capable and resourceful. I also believe that under his leadership, our employees will be able to follow Tianyu Group to a higher level. Miss Ding. Su Qingsang leaned against the back seat of the car. The heater in the car was very warm. She didn't take off her coat, but she still felt a little warm. President Hua isn't here, so you don't have to flatter him in front of me. Mrs. Hua, you're joking again. I don't think it's flattery. Don't you like people praising President Hua's ability? I don't like it. As Su Qingsang spoke, she smiled faintly. In my heart, Hua Jinniao is good at everything. So, I really don't need to listen to others praising him. Su Qingsang smiled. Ding Qing only glanced at the smile in her eyes and the sweetness on her face through the rearview mirror. She just felt that the smile on her face was a little dazzling. Why did Su Qingsang smile so sweetly? It was because of Hua Jinniao. Without Hua Jinniao, what would Su Qingsang be? Nothing at all. Ding Qing lowered her eyes. She knew that she had been a little too impatient today. She should have calmed down a little. However, when she thought of Hua Jinniao at Charm of Night last night, she suddenly couldn't help it. It didn't matter. There was still a long way to go. She would be with Hua Jinniao every day. She didn't believe that she wouldn't have a chance at all. She didn't say another word. She stared at the road ahead and focused on driving. Su Qingsang didn't speak either. She looked at Ding Qing's back and thought about what she would do next. On the way here, she finally understood that Ding Qing didn't seem to be very obvious. But in fact, she was trying to provoke her with every word she said. Chapter 524. If she really took it seriously, she would be tricked by this woman and fell into her trap. After understanding this, Su Qingsang's expression became much calmer. She didn't feel bored. Instead, she looked at the scenery outside the car window with great interest. In the silence, the car arrived at a high-end apartment complex. Ding Qing drove the car directly to the gate of one of the apartments. She stopped the car, pulled over, and turned to look at Su Qingsang. Mrs. Hua, let me help you carry your luggage upstairs. As she spoke, she was about to get out of the car to carry the luggage. However, when she pushed the door open, she found that Su Qingsang was sitting in the back seat and didn't move. She was shocked and turned to look at Su Qingsang. Mrs. Hua. Su Qingsang crossed her arms in front of her chest and blinked at Ding Qing, then looked at the apartment in front of her. Who told you that I live here? What? Ding Qing was surprised for a while, then apologized profusely. I'm sorry, Mrs. Hua. I'm so sorry. Last time when President Hu was drunk, I drove him home. This was the address he gave me. I thought that you two lived together. I'm sorry. Su Qingsang didn't say anything. She looked at Ding Qing, who was apologizing and blaming herself. It seemed that Ding Qing was upset because she didn't do a good job. The car door was still open. Ding Qing was about to step out of the car. But now, she turned to look at Su Qingsang. All of a sudden, she leaned forward a little and stared at Ding Qing's face with her sharp eyes. Ding Qing's pretty face looked surprisingly imposing at the moment. She had been with Hu Jiniao for a long time, so she had unconsciously learned some of his mannerisms. Did you say that last time you drove Hu Jiniao home, you drove him here? Ding Qing shrunk her neck, as if she didn't understand why Su Qingsang's expression suddenly changed. I'm sorry, Mrs. Hua. I acted on my own. Acted on your own? Su Qingsang nodded heavily. You did act on your own, because Hu Jiniao doesn't live here. Ding Qing blinked. Her delicate face was filled with confusion. President Hu doesn't live here? She looked hesitant, as if she was really acting. Only Su Qingsang didn't believe that he didn't do it on purpose. Su Qingsang didn't answer her question. She just stared at her face, her eyes sharp and piercing. Ding Qing tried her best to stay calm. Even though Su Qingsang was staring at her, she didn't show any panic. It only took her a few seconds to calm herself down. He tilted his head and seemed a little uncomfortable as he spoke. Mrs. Hua, why don't you tell me your address? Su Qingsang didn't answer. She took out her phone and called Hu Jiniao. Ding Qing watched her, but the look on her face didn't change. Su Qingsang was also looking at her. Seeing that this woman was so calm, she really admired her in her heart. He just hoped that he could be this calm later. The call went through but no one answered. Su Qingsang wasn't in a hurry and let the phone keep ringing. About a minute later, the call ended. The look on Ding Qing's face didn't change. Only she knew that there was an almost imperceptible trace of relief in her eyes. The corners of Su Qingsang's mouth curled up slightly, and she pressed the call button again. It was a nice day in Rong City, and Su Qingsang's flight was early. It was almost noon now. The sunlight outside was refracted through the car window, making Su Qingsang's face look especially fair, with a faint layer of light. The call finally went through. The look on Su Qingsang's face suddenly changed. It wasn't as sharp as before, but slightly gentle. Ding Qing was also looking at her. Naturally, she didn't miss the change in Su Qingsang's eyes. She pursed her lips slightly, but she disguised it very well. Qingsang, you're here? It was Hu Jiniao's voice. He seemed to still be in a meeting, because Su Qingsang could hear the sound of him arranging documents, and someone typing on the keyboard on the other end. Yeah. It's almost noon. Are you still busy? Su Qingsang kept looking at Ding Qing while talking. Yeah. Hu Jiniao nodded, glanced at Yang Wenchang, and signaled him to go out first. I'll send someone to pick you up. Did you get it? Are you home now? They had just finished a meeting, and he went to the bathroom. When he came out, his phone was ringing. I got it. I just want to ask, do you have a house in Minghua Xindu? Minghua Xindu? Su Qingsang's words confused Hu Jiniao. Yeah, I have two. This building was developed by Tianyu Group. That's why I kept two. What's wrong? Why are you asking me this? No. I just passed by here and found the environment here nice. Su Qingsang noticed that when Hu Jiniao said that he had a house here, Ding Qing's lips curved up. Although it was only for a short while, she saw it clearly. She didn't ask the main point as she thought she would. The environment is nice, but not as good as where we live now. Another thing is that it's a bit far from where I work. If you like it, I'll have someone clean it up next time, and you can live there. You said you have two houses. Yeah, I wanted to live in one house by myself, so I renovated it. Later, I didn't want to live there anymore, so I arranged for Wenchang to rent it out. The other one hasn't been renovated, so it's not suitable for you to live in. If you like it, I'll have someone decorate it. You can decorate it the way you want. No need. Our house is pretty good. I don't plan to move. Su Qingsang added. I can't live in the house my mother bought for me yet, but you can continue to renovate it and rent it out. I don't have time for that. Hua Jinyao was very busy. He really didn't have time for such trivial things. Mohan wanted it before, but his company moved so he kept it. Su Qingsang didn't ask further. She already knew what she wanted to know. Seeing that Ding Qing's expression didn't change, she felt that this woman was quite impressive. Haven't you eaten yet? No. Wenchang ordered food. It'll be sent up later. Hua Jinyao glanced at the time. Have you eaten yet? No. I told Ms. Yu before I came. She's ready. I'll eat when I get home later. That's good. Hua Jinyao nodded. Suddenly he thought of something. Aren't you home yet? That shouldn't be. Normally, she should be home already. No. Su Qingsang looked at Ding Qing and raised her eyebrows. Miss Ding, you don't seem to know the way. You drove to the wrong place. Hua Jinyao knitted his eyebrows. Really? Yeah. Su Qingsang said with a smile. Ding Qing's expression finally changed. Maybe it's too hard to find our house. Chapter 525. Su Qingsang had been on speakerphone when she was on the phone. She was looking at Ding Qing now. She pointed the phone screen at Ding Qing and handed it to her. Ding Qing didn't expect Su Qingsang to be so unpredictable. Because of Su Qingsang's sudden action, she didn't know what to say. This was the first time that all of her intelligence had been rendered useless. Secretary Ding? Hua Jinyao's voice was a little cold. Where are you now? Yes, I'm in Minghua Xindu. Ding Qing had been very confident in front of Hua Jinyao lately, even though she had felt a little guilty and blamed herself for what had happened to Qiao Hong in front of him before. But it still couldn't hide her shrewdness and capability. Minghua Xindu? Hua Jinyao raised his eyebrows slightly. Secretary Ding, shouldn't Minghua Xindu and the imperial court be in different directions? Before Ding Qing went to pick him up, he asked Yang Wenchang to tell Ding Qing the address. Why did Ding Qing bring him to Minghua Xin? No wonder Su Qingsang asked him about the house in Minghua Xindu. President Hua, I don't want to listen to your explanation now. I will give you 15 minutes to send my wife back to the imperial dynasty, and then go back to the company. His tone was cold and impolite. The phone was on speaker mode, and Su Qingsang was sitting next to him. For a moment, Ding Qing felt that her face was burning. She sat there, her body slightly trembling. She didn't expect to face such a situation. President Hua, give the phone to my wife. Hua Jinyao's voice was still cold. He didn't plan to give Ding Qing face at all. Su Qingsang calmly took the phone out of Ding Qing's hand. This time, she turned on the speakerphone and put the phone back to her ear. Jinyao. Sorry. Hua Jinyao didn't need to know what was going on with Ding Qing. No matter what, he wouldn't be happy. Ding Qing will drive you home right away. Go back and rest well. All right. Su Qingsang watched Ding Qing turn around to start the car in a daze. She smiled and said, You should go have dinner too. Work is endless. Don't tire yourself out. I know. Her concern softened Hua Jinyao's expression. After all, Ding Qing was there, so Su Qingsang didn't say anything else. After hanging up, she looked at Ding Qing. Ding Qing's face was stiff, but she didn't start the car right away. Instead, she looked at her again, judging her. The way Ding Qing looked at her made Su Qingsang very uncomfortable, so she didn't want to be nice to Ding Qing. Secretary Ding, aren't you going to drive? Just now, Jinyao seemed to have asked you to send me home as fast as possible, right? Mrs. Hua, don't worry. I'll deliver it now. Ding Qing took a deep look at her, then turned around, started the car, and sped towards the imperial court. Su Qingsang sat in the back seat and didn't say a word. She still looked calm, as if the phone call and Ding Qing's provocation didn't affect her at all. Ding Qing happened to see the look on Su Qingsang's face in the rearview mirror. She clenched the steering wheel tightly. For a moment, she really wanted to stop the car, turn around, and slap the smile off Su Qingsang's face. It was just that she held back. Seeing that the navigation had pointed to the destination, her mind turned quickly. She didn't want to admit defeat, at least not like this. Half an hour later, the car stopped at the entrance of the Imperial Court Apartments. Su Qingsang reached for the car door. This time, she didn't need Ding Qing to open the car door for her. However, before she pushed the car door open, Ding Qing suddenly turned around and looked at her. The look on her face was much calmer than before. "Mrs. Hua, do you think you've won?" Ding Qing looked at Su Qingsang with determination. "We're not competing. Who cares about winning or losing?" Su Qingsang felt that she was really patient today. She had been talking nonsense with Ding Qing. "If you say so, then so be it. However, I feel that you will lose sooner or later." "Mrs. Hua, do you know why?" asked Ding Qing with a faint smile on her face. Su Qingsang didn't answer, and Ding Qing didn't need an answer. "President Hua clearly asked me to drive him here that day, but he's suddenly so unhappy today. I admit, I was a little impatient. But if you're not guilty, why are you so angry? To put it bluntly, he's angry because I don't know what's important. I'm also using this to cover up his guilty conscience." Speaking of this, Ding Qing suddenly smiled and said, "Mrs. Hua, do you still think that you haven't lost?" Su Qingsang's expression didn't change. She just looked at Ding Qing, who was smiling and provoking her. She curled up the corners of her mouth and put on a smile that was even brighter than Ding Qing's. "Lost? What do you mean by lost? What Jinyao asked you to drive him home? That's called losing? Mrs. Hua, why do you have to lie? President Hua and I were alone. I drove him home, and then we went upstairs. He got drunk again. What do you think will happen?" Su Qingsang looked at her with the same smile on her face. "What are you trying to imply? That Hua Jinyao got drunk and had sex with you? Or that you took the initiative to hook up with him? And then Hua Jinyao took advantage of the fact that he was drunk. Did you do it? Are you sure?" Ding Qing moved her lips. She was very sure that if she dared to say that Hua Jinyao did it with her, this woman would immediately call Hua Jinyao to verify it. It's normal for a man to do something when he's drunk. "Mrs. Hua, are you angry?" She was hoping that Su Qingsang would be angry. It was a pity that Su Qingsang never played by the rules. She was destined to fail. "Ding Qing, Secretary Ding, I think you should see a doctor. After all, it's not good for you to have delusions at such a young age." "Mrs. Hua, do you think I'm lying to you? If you don't believe me, you can call President Hua. You can ask him if we spent the whole night together on Friday night." Of course, they spent the whole night together. However, they spent the whole night together in the company's office. Not only that, Yang Wenchang was with them. However, Ding Qing would never tell Hua Jinyao the truth. Even if Su Qingsang asked Hua Jinyao, she would get the same answer. "Secretary Ding, you really don't have to lie to me. I also believe that you spent the whole night with Hua Jinyao. But there's something you don't know, right? What is it?" Su Qingsang didn't want to waste any more time with this woman. She glanced at her coldly, with sympathy and sarcasm in her eyes. Then, she pushed the car door open and stepped out of the car. Every time Hua Jinyao gets drunk, he only sleeps. He doesn't do anything else. And more importantly, Su Qingsang didn't finish the second half of her sentence. She slammed the car door shut and walked to the back to get the luggage. Ding Qing didn't hear the last part of Su Qingsang's sentence. She got out of the car without hesitation. Seeing Su Qingsang take the 2 suitcases down, she reached out her hand to stop her from pulling the lever. "What's the other thing?" Su Qingsang gently waved her hand away and pulled the 2 suitcases in front of her. Seeing the anxious look on Ding Qing's face, she leaned forward a little and spoke in a low voice that only the 2 of them could hear. "Hua Jinyao, he doesn't lift. You don't know that, do you?" It was noon, and there were few people in the neighborhood. Su Qingsang wasn't afraid that people would hear her even if she spoke in a low voice. However, she said it in such a way. Seeing Ding Qing's stunned face, she chuckled and said, "Miss Ding, if you want to lie next time, You'd better prepare a strategy. No, that's impossible. Ding Qing didn't believe a single word that Su Qingsang said. She didn't believe a single word that Su Qingsang said. Impossible? Then why don't you think about why Hu Jiniao would marry me, considering his family background? You've investigated my identity, haven't you? No matter whether Li Qinxue acknowledged her or not, she was still an illegitimate daughter of the Li family on the surface. Her identity hadn't been made public. Ding Qing was almost petrified. She stared at Su Qingsang with her eyes wide open, unable to digest what Su Qingsang had just said. Su Qingsang looked at her, her eyes full of sympathy and sarcasm. At last, she pulled the 2 suitcases into the apartment quickly. Ding Qing stood there for a long time. She didn't come to herself until a cold wind blew over. She thought about the tall and strong Hu Jiniao and Su Qingsang's words, but she couldn't connect the two together. How was that possible? It was impossible. She returned to the company in such a state of shock and bewilderment. As soon as she entered the company, she was called into Hu Jiniao's office. When she met Hu Jiniao's cold eyes, she still hadn't come to herself from Su Qingsang's words. She even subconsciously looked at Hu Jiniao's lower body. However, her eyes were blocked by the desk. She couldn't help but look into Hu Jiniao's eyes again. Hu Jiniao was unhappy that she was staring at him. He narrowed his eyes and looked at Ding Qing. Miss Ding, can you please explain it to me? I asked you to send my wife to the imperial court, but you sent her to Minghua Xindu instead. His voice was cold, and his words were even colder. Ding Qing had already thought of an excuse for herself on her way to the hospital. I'm sorry, President Hua. When I got Mrs. Hua, she didn't say that she was going home for lunch. I asked her, and she said that she hadn't had lunch yet. Then, I remembered that there's a private restaurant near Minghua Xindu. The food there is quite good, so I wanted to take Mrs. Hua there. When I passed by Minghua Xindu, I remembered that Miss Chen mentioned that your apartment was for rent, so I chatted with Mrs. Hua for a while. Then, I found out that she didn't seem to know that your apartment was there. I'm sorry, President Hua. I shouldn't have said so much. Ding Qing's words were beautiful. First, she said that she was sending Su Qingsang to lunch out of kindness. Then, she said that Su Qingsang called him because she found out that Hu Jiniao had a house in Minghua Xindu. Chapter 526. Hu Jiniao remained silent. Ding Qing stood there with a guilty look on her face. She was betting. He was betting that Su Qingsang wouldn't ask him about it after Hu Jiniao went back. However, even if he asked, her explanation today was considered acceptable. She was confident that she had a 90% chance of passing. Hu Jiniao looked at Ding Qing. Ding Qing was a capable woman. Ever since she took over Zhang Yang's job, she had performed admirably. As she was a woman, she was even more meticulous than Zhang Yang. If possible, he didn't want to change his secretary for the time being. However, there were conditions for that. Secretary Ding. Ding Qing stood there. She wasn't sure if she could pass today's test. If she couldn't, she could only blame her bad luck. I hope you can understand one thing. President Hua, please go ahead. Ding Qing lowered her head. I can understand if you make a small mistake at work, or if you don't do your best in some aspects. But in everything that concerns my wife, these are all my bottom lines, understand? Su Qingsang wasn't an unreasonable person. She wouldn't be upset just because he didn't tell her that he had a house in Minghuaxin. That was not Su Qingsang's style. There were other reasons for Hu Jiniao's preference. The reason probably had something to do with Ding Qing. Ding Qing crossed her hands. She didn't even dare to raise her head. I'm sorry, President Hua. I'm so sorry. I promise, there will be no next time. If you lie in front of me, you know what will happen, right? Ding Qing felt a great deal of pressure. Her back was covered in sweat. Mr. Hua, I didn't lie. I'm telling the truth. Secretary Ding. Hu Jiniao looked at Ding Qing and said in a cold voice, Are you sure that my wife is mad at me because I didn't tell her which properties I own? That's not what I mean. Ding Qing lowered her eyes and said, Maybe, or maybe I said something inappropriate, or maybe I said something that upset Mrs. Hua. In short, it's all my fault. As long as you know. Hua Jingyao lowered his head and didn't look at Ding Qing again. Ding Qing could feel the sweat dripping down her back. I'm sorry. It's my fault. Please give me one more chance. The office was very quiet. Hua Jingyao didn't speak. He just busied himself with what he was doing. He didn't let Ding Qing leave, nor did he tell her what to do with her. Ding Qing moved her lips. She couldn't help but say something. Hua Jingyao finally finished the documents in his hands and raised his head to look at her. Sure, I'll give you a chance. Hua Jingyao looked at Ding Qing and waved his hand. If it happens again, don't blame me for being rude. After all, Ding Qing had contributed a lot to Qiao Hong's death. She had even been injured because of it. He wasn't an unreasonable boss. If possible, he didn't want to change people every day. Ding Qing turned around and left. When she walked out of Hua Jinyao's office, she sighed softly. He flew at a low altitude, but at least he passed. This time she was too impatient. Next time, she would definitely not make such a mistake. However, there wouldn't be a next time. Ding Qing turned around and looked at Hua Jinyao's office with determination in her eyes. When Hua Jinyao was about to get off work, Yang Wenchang walked in. He had asked someone to check Qiao Hong's bank accounts today, but no problem was found. That wasn't normal. It seemed to be an impromptu decision. But now, Hua Jinyao had reason to suspect that things weren't as simple as they seemed. Yes, that's not normal. Hua Jinyao gently tapped the desk with a serious look on his face. He looked at Yang Wenchang and said, "Are you sure that you've checked all his bank accounts, including his family's accounts?" Yes. Yang Wenchang was very sure. "I've checked all of them. I've even checked Qiao Hong's grandparents who are already old. Nothing suspicious." No. Did they suddenly move? Not really. Yang Wenchang was very capable. Of course, he wouldn't allow himself to make such a stupid mistake. Qiao Hong's parents live in an affordable neighborhood about an hour's drive from the company. Qiao Hong's parents raised the down payment and said that they would buy him a new house for him to get married. That's what happened to his girlfriend. Hua Jinyao felt that something was wrong. Suddenly, he stopped tapping the desk and thought of a problem. Keep watching Qiao Hong's bank accounts. Mr. Hua. Keep watching him. First, find out what he spent the 2 million on. Secondly, take a look and see if anyone has suddenly given Qiao Hong money in the next half a month. Yang Wenchang's eyes lit up. Mr. Hua, you mean that Qiao Hong hasn't received the money yet, so you can't find out anything? Yes. If it was a trap, the other party must have promised the other party something good. The benefit didn't have to be given immediately. It could be given later. Just look at the weight of the person who gave you the benefits, and you will know. What if Qiao Hong is not suspicious in the end? Then it can only mean that he did it on an impromptu decision. However, Hua Jinyao didn't believe it. Go. You've worked hard. Go home early today. Mr. Hua, the board meeting this morning. It's okay. I can handle it. Hua Yifan was indeed a little too proud recently. But it didn't matter. Let him be proud for a while. Hua Yifan was the vice president of the company, but recently, he seemed to be in the limelight. It was only because he negotiated the Ike's case. However, they all knew exactly how he negotiated the case. Hua Yifan didn't feel embarrassed to take most of the credit for it. Not only Hua Yifan, but Hua Yiyang, who was placed in the design department of the company, had also become more arrogant recently. He didn't want to think about what the siblings had done in the dark. They wouldn't be arrogant for long anyway. Hua Jinyao wanted to talk to Yang Wenchang about Ding Qing, so that he could hire a backup, but he didn't in the end. Since he had promised to give Ding Qing a chance, he would let her stay. Zhang Yang was only taking a vacation, not quitting. Yang Wenchang looked a little worried. He watched Hua Jinyao leave without saying a word. He truly felt that Hua Jinyao had been through a lot. He had never seen a chairman like his own, who would help his nephew instead of his own son. Hua Jinyao didn't know that he had become like a cabbage, which made Yang Wenchang feel sorry for him. When he got home, the lights were already bright. Su Qingsang was talking to Auntie Yu in the kitchen, and the sound of the two women's chatting could be faintly heard. There was a faint aroma of food in the air. The dim yellow light in the room made him feel warm again. The warm feeling he had when he was in Lin City came again. He put down the car key, gently changed his shoes, and walked to the door of the kitchen. Ms. Yu was cooking, and Su Qingsang was helping her. Ms. Yu, just put some salt in the soup, right? Yes, Ms. Yu said with a smile. I didn't expect you to be so talented. When Mr. Tang comes back and finds out that you made this soup, he will love it. Who said I made it for him? Su Qingsang put the salt in the soup, tasted it and said, I'm tired these days. Can't I make it for myself? Madam, I'm afraid that Mr. Tang will have to drink a few more bowls later. Seeing that Su Qingsang didn't mean what she said, Ms. Yu smiled brightly and scooped the dishes. She turned around and saw Hu Jinniao coming back. Su Qingsang was about to retort when she suddenly saw Hu Jinniao's figure. She was startled and almost dropped the spoon in her hand. She glared at Hu Jinniao and took the soup outside. Hu Jinniao followed behind her and put his arms around her waist when she put down the soup. Honey, I missed you so much. Stop it. Su Qingsang patted the back of his hand. Go wash your hands and get ready for dinner. Honey, I really missed you. Didn't you miss me? He leaned in close to her ear, his hot breath on her neck. Su Qingsang felt itchy and shrank her neck. Who wants to miss you? Go wash your hands and eat. Yes, madam. He raised 3 fingers, and then quickly headed in the direction of the bathroom. Su Qingsang shook her head, and went back to the kitchen to help bring out the dishes. Ms. Yu was a little embarrassed. Madam, please sit down. I'll do it. It's okay. I have nothing to do anyway. She came back in the afternoon, packed up her things and slept for a while. When she woke up, Ms. Yu had already started cooking. When Hu Jinniao came out, 4 dishes and 1 soup were already on the table. Ms. Yu untied the apron around her waist. Sir, madam, I'll go back first. Leave the bowls here. I'll come and clean them up tomorrow. After Ms. Yu left, Su Qingsang scooped a bowl of soup. Unexpectedly, she didn't put it in front of Hu Jinniao like before. Instead, she put it in front of herself. She picked up the bowl and smelled the aroma. It was delicious. She couldn't tell that she was really talented in cooking. Hu Jinniao saw that her attitude was different from usual, and understood what was going on. He leaned over with a faint smile on his face. Honey, are you angry? I'm not angry. Su Qingsang took a sip of the soup. Yes. It tasted good. She could try something else next time. How could she not be angry? Then wife, get me a bowl of soup. Don't you have hands? Su Qingsang glanced at him coldly. Hu Jinniao's gaze became more and more resentful, but only for a moment. He quickly put on a fawning smile. Honey, don't be angry. I said I'm not angry. No. You see, I really didn't mean to not tell you. I have a house in Minghua. I have too many properties under my name. If you want to know, I'll ask Wenchang to calculate tomorrow how much real estate, movable property, and other funds, stocks, bonds, and so on I have. I'll let you have a look then. Su Qingsang put down the bowl and didn't look at him. No need. Why would I look at those? You're my wife now. So aren't my properties also yours? Is that so? Su Qingsang smiled fakely. Thank you. But no need. The money I earn is enough for me to spend. After Li Qianxue recognized her, she gave her 5% of the Li Group's shares and a monthly dividend. Li Qianxue bought a few properties in Rong City. Other than the small villa she lived in, the remaining 2 houses were now rented out. The rent was not small each year. Her monthly salary was also enough for her expenses. She wasn't a person who spent money like water and only wanted to enjoy life. Honey, really don't be angry. I promise, I'll tell you everything next time. Okay. Hu Jinniao pulled the chair closer to her. Su Qingsang put her hand on her forehead and looked at him. Do you want to eat? Honey. Hu Jinniao met Su Qingsang's eyes and had no choice but to compromise. I'll eat. Honey, you're so fierce. Su Qingsang's mouth twitched. Hu Jinniao. But you're also very cute when you're fierce. I like it very much. Su Qingsang's forehead twitched. Who was going to take this guy away? Why was he always so indecent when he was outside? Why was he always so indecent in front of her? Hu Jinniao wanted to speak a few times, but Su Qingsang didn't look at him. She just ate quietly. Auntie Yu's cooking was quite good. At least, Su Qingsang had a good appetite. After eating, Hua Jinyao thought that he could have a good chat. Unexpectedly, Su Qingsang took the initiative to wash the dishes. Honey, let auntie you clean it up tomorrow. No need. Su Qingsang cleaned the table and dishes without looking at Hua Jinyao. Honey, do you want me to help? Su Qingsang finally stopped what she was doing. She turned to look at him and said calmly, Well, do you want to break a few more bowls? Hua Jinyao was terrified. He stopped talking and watched Su Qingsang busy. Her movements were fast and neat. Not long after, she cleaned the kitchen. At the same time, he also wiped the dining table outside. Hua Jinyao followed behind her, but she pretended not to see him. After she was done, she went straight back to her room. Hua Jinyao had no choice but to follow her in again. Su Qingsang had already packed her luggage in the afternoon. She took out the gifts one by one. Some were for old Master Hua, some for Hua Mingguang, and some for Lu Tongjia. There were also some local specialties from Lin City. Su Qingsang planned to take them to the hospital tomorrow for Sun Huiya and the others. She had to go to work tomorrow, so Su Qingsang packed the gifts one by one according to the amount she had bought before. Hua Jinyao watched her from the side. Honey, shut up, don't disturb me. Hua Jinyao was very sad. He glanced at Su Qingsang, turned around, and went to the bathroom to take a shower. Su Qingsang wasn't afraid of Hua Jinyao's anger. In fact, she was angry, even if she believed that there was nothing between Hua Jinyao and Ding Qing. Hua Jinyao was a married man. When a woman threw herself at him, he didn't push her away, and even reached out with a look of enjoyment. Su Qingsang ignored Hua Jinyao. She packed all the gifts and put them away. She only needed to carry them to the car tomorrow. She went to the closet to get her pajamas, and was about to take a shower. When she was about to go in, Hua Jinyao just came out. Honey, are you going to take a shower? Su Qingsang gave him a look, as if he was an idiot. She was going to take a shower with her pajamas. Honey, do you want me to help you? As Hua Jinyao spoke, he winked at Su Qingsang. He was handsome. Even with such a roguish expression, he looked quite attractive. Su Qingsang stopped breathing and tried to calm down. Thank you. No need. Honey, you don't have to be so polite with me. I'll be happy to help you take a shower. As he spoke, he shook his head. He had just taken a shower, and his body was a little damp. The ends of his hair were wet. Water dripped down and fell on his chest, which was only wrapped in a bath towel. Su Qingsang looked straight ahead, and forced herself not to look at Hua Jinyao's masculinity. Thank you, but I don't want you to help me take a shower. After saying that, Su Qingsang walked past him and went to the bathroom. However, Hua Jinyao suddenly hugged her. He turned around and easily pressed her body against the wall. He was very tall, and Su Qingsang was very petite. Being pressed by him like that, she felt as if her whole body was nailed to the wall. She didn't hold her pajamas properly and fell to the ground. Hua Jinyao put me down. It didn't feel good to have her feet hanging in the air. Su Qingsang gritted her teeth and stared at him, signaling him to put her down. Hua Jinyao didn't let her down. With his height advantage, he easily trapped Su Qingsang's body and made her look at him. His forehead was against hers, and the tips of their noses were almost touching. His eyes met hers. His black pupils were so dark that she couldn't see the bottom of them. Su Qingsang cursed in her heart. Bastard, he only knows how to seduce me with his body. He's too much. Honey, are you done being angry? Hua Jinyao didn't just use his body. He lowered his voice and spoke in a soft voice. His voice was very sexy. Su Qingsang suddenly felt a little breathless. She forced herself not to look at his handsome face. Is there something wrong with your ears? I said I'm not angry. Liar. Hua Jinyao held her face with one hand and didn't let her escape. Okay. If you say you're not angry, then don't be angry. Honey, we haven't seen each other for a few days. You don't even know how much I missed you. As he spoke, one of his hands slid down her cheek, little by little, over her front, and then her collarbone. Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang didn't want to have sex with him now. She still had things to ask. Honey. Hua Jinyao leaned over and gently pecked her lips. I missed you so much when you weren't at home. You really didn't miss me at all? Did you miss me? Su Qingsang turned her head and avoided his second kiss. Why do I feel that you're so busy that you don't have time to miss me? Honey. He was very busy, but being busy and missing her were two different things. I'm so sad that you miss me like this. You're sad? Why don't I feel that way? Su Qingsang raised her eyebrows slightly as she spoke. Her clear eyes were a little mischievous. A hand gently poked his chest. It wasn't asterisk asterisk, but asterisk asterisk. It was just a gentle nod. Chapter 527. Hua Jinyao paused for a second and let go of her. Su Qingsang slid down from his arms. To prevent herself from falling, she pressed her back against the wall. As she was about to leave his arms, Hua Jinyao suddenly put his hands on both sides of her body. Honey, how did you know? Hua Jinyao thought of her phone call that day and Ding Qing. His face darkened. Did Ding Qing tell him about it? How did I know? It's all because you went to a nightclub. It's all over the news. Why? Are you afraid that I'll find out about it? Hua Jinyao was stunned for a moment. Not everyone in Rong City dared to mess with Tianyu Group. Not everyone dared to report on his news. He rarely gave interviews to the media, and almost no photos were leaked to the public. Because of that, the Li family couldn't find out who he was when he was in Lin City. Honey, look at you. If you want to sentence me to death, you should at least give me a chance to appeal, right? A chance to appeal, right? Okay. Su Qingsang didn't waste time talking to him. She took out her phone and clicked on the WeChat account. She swiped her finger on the screen. Soon, Hua Jinyao saw the news that day. And of course he saw himself in the video. Of course, he saw Ding Qing throw herself into his arms. He thought of the tone Su Qingsang used when she called him. He suddenly thought of Ding Qing's words. He suddenly understood why Su Qingsang used that tone when she called him. So that was why. He was wondering why Su Qingsang would get angry at him because of a house. Honey, I can explain. Go ahead. I'm listening. Su Qingsang spread her hands and looked like she was all ears. Actually, it's a long story. You can make it short. As she spoke, Su Qingsang picked up her pajamas. She stepped back again and stood at the door of the bathroom. Exactly. Why did Ding Qing and I appear in that bar? It's because our company lost something. Then it fell into the hands of an employee. Because it was very important. I was in a hurry to get it back that day. She briefly explained what happened that day. Hua Jinyao didn't elaborate further. However, Su Qingsang sensed something different in his voice. You mean you've got it back now? Yeah, I got it back. Seeing that she stopped asking about Ding Qing, Hua Jinyao sighed with relief. That was really an accident. Su Qingsang saw it. No wonder she was unhappy when Ding Qing went to pick her up. You said you spent 2 million? He said it casually, but Su Qingsang took it in. Yeah. Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang nervously. Honey, you're not going to complain that I spent too much money, are you? Su Qingsang rolled her eyes at him. She didn't want to talk to him when he was so out of tune. She held the pajamas in her hands and fell into deep thought. Tianyu Group was such a big company, and its benefits were quite good. The employees had all signed confidentiality agreements, and the annual salary of the employees involved in this project was at least a few 100,000 yuan. Would the other party do such a thing for 2 million? Hua Jinyao, don't you think there's something wrong with this? What's wrong? Of course Hua Jinyao did. But now he was interested in Su Qingsang's deduction. Su Qingsang told him about her inference and pointed out the unreasonable parts of it. So he only needs to work for Tianyu Group for 2 or 3 years, or at most 3 or 4 years. Then he has the money. Why would he do such a thing? Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang with undisguised appreciation in his eyes. It was a pity that Su Qingsang went to study medicine. She was quite sensitive about business. Besides, if it were me, I could ask for a sky-high price. If I asked you for 10 or 20 million, you would have to pay me. After all, you said that this project is worth hundreds of millions, and you have invested hundreds of millions. So, this is completely unreasonable. Su Qingsang stated her own point of view. Hua Jinyao looked at her and couldn't help but be tempted. He leaned over and kissed her hard on the lips. Honey, you're so smart. Su Qingseng looked into his eyes and didn't answer him. She raised her hand and gently pinched his arm. Then, she found that Hu Jinyao's arm was strong and full of muscles. She retracted her hand and poked his chest instead. Hu Jinyao, don't think that I'll forgive you for lying to me just because you praised me. Honey, how did I lie to you? Hu Jinyao felt a little wronged. Was everything I said the truth? Everything you said was the truth. Of course. Then tell me that you had a reason to go to the nightclub. I believe you. So why did you lie to me and say that you were at the old house? Hu Jinyao blinked. Su Qingsong's face was full of smiles. She nodded at him gently, signaling him to remember quickly. Her smile was meaningful, and Hu Jinyao suddenly felt a chill down his spine. Honey, forgot? Do you want me to remind you? Go ahead. I called you that day and asked you where you stayed yesterday. What did you tell me? You told me that you lived in the old house. Su Qingseng paused and poked Hu Jinyao's chest with her finger. Hu Jinyao, it's fun to lie to me, isn't it? Honey, you've really wronged me. I was reading an email at that time, and I just answered casually. I really didn't lie to you. A casual answer is a lie, as if it's true. Then if one day you deliberately want to lie to me, I won't know at all, right? Honey, how could that be? I'm an outstanding young man with 5 stresses, 4 beauties and 3 loves. I've never lied to anyone. You've never lied to others? Su Qingseng poked his chest with her hand again. Why do I remember that you started to lie to me when we just got married? Hu Jinyao was speechless. He looked at Su Qingseng with his dark eyes full of helplessness. Honey, let's talk about something, okay? Go ahead. Can we not bring up the past? Okay. Su Qingseng nodded. Come, let's talk about the current situation. You went to the nightclub with Secretary Ding. But you lied to me that you went back to the old house. Are you lying to me? Also, forget about you going to the nightclub with Secretary Ding. Why did you carry her? I didn't carry her. Hu Jinyao didn't want to take the blame. At that time, another group of people was fighting, and she happened to step on a wine bottle that they threw at her. She lost her balance and fell in my direction. All I did was help her. Hu Jinyao said the last few words in a lower and lower voice. By the last word, his voice was almost silent. Su Qingseng nodded and looked understanding. I understand. You helped her to prevent her from falling. Yes. And also to hug a beauty, right? Su Qingseng tightened the pajamas in her arms as she spoke. She looked up at Hu Jinyao and said, Secretary Ding's figure is good, right? Not as good as you. Hu Jinyao answered quickly. Su Qingseng nodded and looked understanding. Not as good as me? That means you seriously looked at her figure, right? You hugged her very clearly, right? Otherwise, how would you know that she's not as good as me? Honey. Hu Jinyao was defeated by Su Qingseng. I don't remember her figure at all. Anyway, in my heart, my wife is number 1 in every aspect. She's the best in the world. Her figure is naturally the same. Seeing Su Qingsong's disapproving face, he hugged her. Honey, are you jealous? Who wants to be jealous of you? Su Qingseng didn't look at Hu Jinyao. She wouldn't admit it. You still say no? Look. Hu Jinyao touched her lips with his hand. Your mouth can hang an oil bottle on it. You still say you're not jealous. Su Qingseng bit his hand a little hard. Hu Jinyao was in pain and pulled his hand back. He looked at Su Qingseng with a wronged expression. Honey, yes. I'm jealous. Why? Can't I be jealous? Honey, you're my husband. Su Qingseng poked his chest hard again and said, You belong to me from head to toe, from inside to outside. Mine. Other women can't touch you at all. Isn't that right? Yes. Her poke couldn't hurt him at all. But Hu Jinyao liked it very much when she was jealous. So now you're being touched by other women, and being hugged by other women. Tell me, can I be jealous? Yes. You're too capable. Hu Jinyao wrapped his arms around her waist and begged for mercy. Honey, don't worry. Next time, even if other women fall to their deaths in front of me, I promise I won't even lift a finger. I'll let them fall to their deaths. All right. You make it sound like I'm cold-blooded. Su Qingseng couldn't bear it anymore. I'm not stopping you from saving people. But next time stay away from those women. Yes. Hua Jinyao took the opportunity to kiss her on the lips again. My wife is gentle, kind, and cute. I'm so lucky to be able to marry you. Hua Jinyao, let go of me. I'm going to take a shower. Su Qingseng couldn't bear it anymore. Hua Jinyao felt that it wasn't enough. Honey, we've been apart for so many years. Do you miss me? Seeing that she didn't answer, he wasn't in a hurry. He picked her up and walked towards the bed. Honey, don't spend your time being jealous and talking about my past. Let's do something that will make each other happy. Isn't that good? Su Qingseng was defeated by him. He could even talk about such things in such a fresh and refined way. She had to give it to him. I didn't take a shower. It's okay. I'll take a shower later. As Hua Jinyao spoke, he had already kissed her on the lips. Soon, the towel around his waist fell under the bed. The clothes that Su Qingseng was wearing had fallen under the bed at some point. When Su Qingseng was in a daze, she felt Hua Jinyao leave her body. He got up from the bedside table to get the condom. She was momentarily dazed. Hua Jinyao, honey, don't worry. It'll be quick. No, that wasn't what she wanted to ask. Jinyao, I think it might be okay. Her voice was very low, like the sound of a mosquito. This time, when she went to Lin City, she got along very well with Li Qianxue. After untangling the knot in her heart, she suddenly felt that being a mother didn't seem to be something that she resisted so much. If she could have a child, thinking about it, it didn't seem so repulsive. This child wouldn't be an illegitimate child. This child was her and Hua Jinyao's child. It was their baby. She also believed that both the elders of the Hua family and the Li family would take care of this child in the palm of their hands. When she came back, she had already begun to think about it. If she stopped using contraceptives and really got pregnant and gave birth, it seemed possible. At least for now, she was willing to try and learn how to be a mother. Hua Jinyao paused for a moment. He lowered his head and looked at Su Qingseng, whose face was flushed and her breathing was rapid. He suddenly stopped and kissed her lips again. Honey, there's no hurry. We're not in a hurry. Separated by a thin 0.01, everything felt the same as usual. However, in the extreme happiness, Su Qingseng had a vague feeling. Why did she suddenly feel that Hua Jinyao seemed to be the person who didn't want children? Su Qingseng carried 2 big bags of local specialties into the door of the department. It was Tuesday, so there were fewer patients than on Monday. Su Qingseng took advantage of the break to distribute the gifts to everyone. It's not valuable. It's a local specialty of Lin City. Please don't mind it. She said it politely, but the people in the department weren't stupid. All of them were very grateful, and they all took the gifts and thanked her. Su Qingseng put on a white coat after she finished distributing the gifts. When she was about to go to the clinic, Li Meilin blocked her way. Dr. Su, there's something I'd like to tell you. What? Li Hong's family has been making a scene in the hospital these days. They want you to give them an explanation. They want me to give them an explanation? Su Qingseng blinked. She didn't understand what Li Meilin said. Why do they want an explanation? Li Hong gave birth to a daughter, and then her uterus was removed. She can't have children anymore. Her husband blamed all of this on you. He said that if you didn't remove his wife's uterus, Li Hong wouldn't be infertile. She didn't finish her sentence, but Su Qingseng understood. What did Director Sun say? She comforted Li Hong's husband, but he didn't listen to her. I don't know who told him that. He heard that you were the first doctor to see him, and that you treated Li Hong before. That's why he wanted to get even with you. Su Qingseng nodded to show that she understood. Alright, I got it. Thank you. It's not that. The whole family came in a menacing manner. You should pay attention to them. Su Qingseng had been working in the department for a few months, and the people in the department all liked her. Li Meilin felt that she had the obligation to remind Su Qingseng, since she had just received a gift from them. Where are they now? They made a scene on Friday. You weren't there, so Director Sun persuaded them to stop. They knew that most doctors don't work on weekends, so they went home. But yesterday, when Li Hong's husband came to see Li Hong, he walked around the department again. I think he came to see you. Thank you. I got it. Su Qingsang nodded, but didn't take it to heart. People had come to the hospital to make trouble before. When she was in Lin City, Zhang Mei and Lu Xiangyu's families were also unreasonable. Everything was fine in the end. The hospital was a place for treatment. The treatment plan was fine, and the family members had agreed to it. When they signed the contract, they had explained clearly that they had to ensure the patient's safety. In Li Hong's condition, even if they didn't remove her uterus, she wouldn't be able to survive. The impact caused by the car accident was not an ordinary impact. If they didn't remove the uterus, they would be in danger. After thinking about that, Su Qingsang went to tend to her own work. The hospital was very busy, and there were many things to do every day. Besides, she was with Sun Huiya. Sun Huiya wasn't in the hospital every day. She was still a professor at Rong City Medical University. Sun Huiya had several research projects in her hands. Su Qingsang was particularly interested in one of them. She had agreed to do research with Sun Huiya. She had to focus on the patients, so she didn't take it to heart that Li Hong's husband came to make trouble. Not only did she not take it to heart, but she even went to Li Hong's ward to see her after lunch. That day, she was in a hurry to go home to pack, so she didn't stay to wait for Li Hong to wake up. She believed that Sun Huiya had already told Li Hong about the situation. Li Meilin said the same thing when she asked her. She said that Sun Huiya had explained it to Li Hong, and that Li Hong had accepted it. However, her husband didn't accept it. After resting for a few days, Li Hong's body had recovered a little. There was no one in the ward. Su Qingsang looked around. She closed her eyes and rested by herself. Her daughter was on the small bed next to her. Due to the shortage of hospital beds and the high number of pregnant women, Li Hong didn't stay in a single room, but a room for two. The other patient had just left the hospital that morning, so Li Hong was the only one left in the ward. Li Hong, I'm here to see you. Although she had rested for a few days, Li Hong's face was still very pale. Hearing Su Qingsang's voice, she turned around and was surprised to see Su Qingsang. You are. I was your surgeon that day. You didn't wake up, so I left after work. Then I took a vacation. That's why I came to see you today. Director Sun had already checked Li Hong's room that morning, but Director Sun had told her not to come. She didn't know what Director Sun meant until now. He didn't want her to have any conflict with the patient's family. Are you that Dr. Su? After Li Hong was born, she stayed in the hospital alone for a long time. She had heard that she had a daughter. At first, she was quite disappointed. After all, her husband's family was waiting for her to have a son. However, since she could have a second child now, she asked someone to bring the baby to her. She was told that the baby was in an incubator, and asked her to rest well before going to see the baby. She didn't mind and accepted it easily. However, her body was too weak, so she quickly fell asleep again. Before she fell asleep, she kept asking the nurse to call her husband over. In the end, when she was in a daze, her husband woke her up. Tell me, are you a pig? Huh? Are you a pig? I told you to touch the porcelain. Why did you do it? Huh? What did I do? It was her husband's idea to touch the porcelain. He said that cars weren't fast nowadays, and she was pregnant. At that time, if she were to lie down on the ground, wouldn't people obediently pay when they saw the pregnant woman? Because Li Hong was pregnant, many drivers knew that she didn't hit the porcelain, but they were afraid that something might happen to her, so they paid her. Especially those who drove luxury cars, time was precious. She was even more reckless. Those people were rich, and they didn't want to spend time collecting evidence or coming to the hospital. Li Hong had been safe for a long time. The only time she failed was when Zhang Yichen tried to touch her. She wanted to blackmail him, but he ran away. She failed. This was the second time. She had acted alone both times. It wasn't like this had never happened before. But this time something really happened. She didn't know what to do until she was knocked into the air. She looked at Su Qingsang with gratitude in her eyes. Dr. Su, thank you. Thank you for saving my life. I heard it from Director Sunday. She said that you saved me. You're welcome. I wasn't the one who saved you. Director Sun and the other colleagues in my department helped you. Dr. Su, you're welcome. Li Hong had been through life and death in the past few days. She got into an argument with her husband. Her mentality was different from a month ago. Thank you really. If Su Qingsang hadn't made the decision in time, she would have been dead. She knew that. You're welcome. Take care of yourself. Su Qingsang glanced at the baby beside her. How come it's out of the incubator so early? Did you ask Director Sun? Did she agree? Yes, she agreed. Li Hong looked at her daughter with love in her eyes. She's very obedient. She eats and sleeps and eats. The baby was so small, and her cries sounded like a cat's meowing. All kids are like that at this age. Su Qingsang moved closer to Li Hong's daughter. It had only been a few days, but the little girl's face looked much prettier than when she was born. Su Qingsang was a little tempted. Li Hong and her husband weren't very good-looking, but their daughter was so adorable. If it was her and Hua Jinyao's child, she wasn't being narcissistic. Hua Jinyao's child would be very beautiful, wouldn't it? It would be. Maybe she could talk to Hua Jinyao and have a child together? Take good care of your daughter. I'm going back to my office. Okay, thank you, Dr. Su. Li Hong nodded. She thought of something and looked a little embarrassed. Dr. Su. Yes. If my man says something mean to you, just pretend you didn't hear it. Don't mind him. It's okay. I understand. She had encountered this kind of situation before when she was in Lin City. There was no shortage of patriarchal families and husbands in China. Li Hong felt a little embarrassed. Su Qingsang patted her arm. Alright, go rest. I'm going to come and see you. I'm leaving. Su Qingsang turned around to leave, but she wasn't very lucky. She bumped into Li Hong's husband at the door. He was on his way to deliver food to Li Hong. He was stunned for a moment when he saw Su Qingsang in a white coat, but he quickly remembered who the woman in front of him was. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.